what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Speaking of Patreon, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of you who do support me on Patreon, so a massive shout out of thanks to Mike, Henrik 86, Muted, Dick Earth Skeptic, TheFlatEarthChannel.com, Chris Hillman, NA Literalist, Steve ALM, Maria Neelands, Unbelievable Productions, Blue Ridge Ranger, Rob H, Burn Fat Till My Stomach Is As Flat As the Earth, Nathan Thompson, The Real Gabster, Windrider, Missouri Bear, Liam Nedrick, Dank, Erwin Jennisons, Abraham Mohammed, Dave Rakia Gafford, Naibai, Adrian Quintana, Skeptic936, Life is Short, Fireball X, Felix Hung, Texas Mike, Edwin Johnson, Kirsten Smith, Tina Baker, Alexander Main, and David Wayne Foster. So another massive thanks to all of you for supporting me on Patreon. Now we are joined by at least a couple of people, no, just Neil in the Discord server, so I'll raise the mic on him, and you can enjoy our dulcet tones, I suppose, while we're waiting for everyone else to join. And I set up for today's live show.
Yeah, it's funny as heck.
What's that?
Funny as heck.
Yeah.
PhD Tony fell into a few traps this week or last week.
Spherical triangle.
Yeah, without straight lines. How do you get an angle?
And they're laughing at Bev before he came on. They were laughing when Spurs said, "Well, you got to get Bev here. He's the professional." They all started cracking up laughing.
Yeah,
I think they're dug in too deep. They're not coming out.
No, these people are not coming out. These are the vermin. I mean, I've known that. You've known that. Everybody knows that.
They're deceivers.
No, they are. They will redefine something in order to think they gain a win, and then when you ask them for a citation, they read part of it, and then when you go to it, you read the second part or whatever part they left out on purpose, and it invalidates what they were trying to say it says. Kosho has done that before. I mean, they just come on and pretend they have something, and then we just honestly say, well, how does that work if this? And the only way it works for them, Neil, is when they redefine it in their fantasy world. But
it happened last night. It happened last night on 24/7 with QE.
Oh gosh, lots of things happen on 24/7. But
the guy read the definition and he left out the main part, and everybody was reading it, and they were like, "Why'd you stop reading?"
That's got a definition. Yeah. That's cherry picking. The thing they accuse us all the time of, cherry picking, that's what that is.
Yeah.
Well, if you're going to cherry pick, watch out for the pitfalls.
The fallacy of incomplete evidence. It was read out and defined to us by Chaiki after he did exactly that. Accused somebody of cherry picking, didn't know what the definition meant. Nah, slightly different example, but nevertheless involving cherry picking. Claimed QE had been cherry picking. We asked him to define it. He hadn't got a clue what the definition was. And then he went on to go and Google search it, read out the definition from Google, and we're like, that hasn't happened. Nobody's had the error of incomplete evidence. That didn't happen. But yet they do it all the time. We've got several examples. One of them's Rumpus reading out the definition, I believe, of gravity, and he leaves off a sentence that says, but it's not a force. It literally just doesn't read it out. It's even on screen for people to see.
Yeah. Well, all this because Neil said that they're like vermin. They're never going to change. And I said, I agree, because that's not what they're here for.
No, they're here at the bargaining stage. Well, if you're at the bargaining stage, you're not bargaining for the counter-argument. They're not bargaining because they want to have it proven wrong. They're bargaining because they want their position to be proven right. So upon defeat, they're not going to suddenly accept why and how they've been defeated. They'll either talk through the conclusion so it doesn't come at all, la la la, I'm not listening, scaredy cat, mute, 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 whatever they do to obfuscate the rebuttal coming their way. Or they reassert the position that's just been demolished. So you go round and round in circles. That's what they'll do, because they can never concede, they can never actually accept that they're wrong, and they never will, because they've only come here to affirm their position, not to have their position challenged, to have us affirm their position.
Yeah. That's been vetted out several times, I'd say. Their motivation, the purpose of their formulation of their argument to begin with. We ask them, can you prove a spherical Earth? We'd love to see it, and we will be on your side when you do. And instead of coming in with that welcome mat and just proving it, look what they do.
Well, they also project all of their digressions onto us, don't they? So if they're going to be cherry picking, they're damn sure going to be claiming that we're doing precisely that.
Mm-hmm. Well, they have to.
Go on.
I'm sorry. No, I was going to say they have to, like the conversation started, they have to say a triangle has bent lines, not straight lines. But if you don't have straight lines, how do you get an angle on a triangle? Third.
Yeah, it makes them do and say crazy, stupid things.
Circumdicular geometry, as Arwen says.
Right.
It's to a point it's funny. Then he just like, come on, grow up.
I don't mind him descending it into absurdity.
Well, that's what is the entertaining part initially, right?
Oh, yeah.
So do we have a full Discord panel?
Whoops. Sorry. Smack my boom arm with my coffee cup. Sorry.
Yeah, it had a low echo at the end too.
That's probably the springs inside it.
Oh, Cavendish.
It's not a torsion bar.
Tell Dr. John D. You got it already.
Shh. Shh.
Oh, man.
I've got an idea. I planted the seed yesterday, so I'm hoping that will sprout today, which was about the PhDs that we've recently had come our way.
Yeah.
Well, once I've got a list together of all the PhDs over maybe the last couple of years, if there's any before that, then great. And then we can play a little game. We can play fraud or fake. Fraud or fake? Give me a second. I wrote it down last night while I was thinking about it. 1 second.
We're going to have a game show.
It wasn't fraud or fake. It's fraud or moron.
And here's your host.
I'm your host, Nathan Oakley. It's time for fraud or moron. Yeah, establish whether or not the people who have made these outrageous claims, often ludicrous and stupid, whether or not they are guilty of abject stupidity or outright deception. and we can numb over those things. Obviously, none of us have got a crystal ball. It's just for fun. Yeah, once a few people arrive, I'll save you.
Well, what do you need a crystal ball when you could just ask them a straight question and they come out with some crazy answers?
I'm sure that'll get covered too, but what I'm saying is in terms of their motivations, we may never find the answer out. But ultimately speaking, you can draw conclusions based on the words they've said, as you rightly point out, which is hopefully what we'll be doing. People tend to do that here anyway, right? We tend to stick to quotes and get angry if you don't quote us correctly.
Yeah, can we talk about motivations for a minute?
Should I go and get my crystal ball? One sec.
No, you don't need crystal ball. Just past recorded shows will do. When you just in a regular conversation with somebody, whether you know them or don't, when you know them, then there's a lot of history and knowledge. When you don't, it's a chance meeting, say at a pub, and you're discussing something, etc. So those two variations of having full knowledge of the person and their likes and dislikes, and say you've had dinner with them, you've gone camping with them, that kind of relationship, versus someone you just met at a pub. And a topic comes up, and you're just going back and forth. Well, what about this? And what about, okay. And then it gets to that pivotal point where once you feel that you've addressed it with the facts, that person is doubling down and coming at you again, but slightly a little bit more, vigor. And you're saying, wait a minute, if it can't mean that, why are you still holding this position? Okay, so use that as the basis. Well, it accelerates after that, because one side is saying you're redefining the words and you're still arguing something that you lost 10 minutes ago by definitions that are clear and readily available. So what is the motivation? Well, one motivation is the guy, based on facts, redefined words to keep the argument going as to not to lose. Well, that's one motivation that's obvious. Other motivations may not be so obvious, but that one is obvious. So let me pick, let's see, Rumpus or Zanuck or one of the other ones. They're on forever. They go after your show to other shows. They lose here. They get embarrassed. They go over there with the same argument, trying to save it, and hopefully not run into someone who dissected it so well. And they do this all day long, all week long. I mean, for the time I've been here, they haven't changed. So I can pretty much guess what their motivation is by their track record, by the evidence they leave. I may not guess all of them, but I can guess that one.
Well, what is their motivation? You haven't said what it is.
What's that?
You didn't actually say what you think their motivation is.
Oh, it's obvious. It's to come in rumpus and to doublespeak and to hide in chat. And when the newbie comes, to lure that person and say, "Oh, I can answer that," and then send them a link. And they're here as a hireling to steal the sheep.
So they're here to do precisely what we see them do. In other words.
Yeah, it's obvious. I mean, we know what they are. They can't have their own sheep and be their own shepherd of their sheep. They come somewhere else, try to take everybody else's sheep. So the shepherds here are fighting hard to keep their sheep, and these hirelings come to steal them. And they have, words in such a way that if a new person heard it, oh, well, maybe I should go hear this point of view because he's here, and why is he here? But he doesn't realize he's been here 2 years lying at that point.
2 years, and the rest.
Well, whatever. I mean, as long as they've been here.
Longer than me.
I mean, yeah, it's like Chocolate said yesterday, I think, that Zanuck finally admitted, or Paul said, Zanuck finally admitted gravity's not a force. Oh, really? Now, after all this time? Now, I wasn't there to hear that. I'd like to hear it, but if that's even true. But he may have meant something else anyway, the way Zanuck goes.
You think we're right in our assessment of the motivation of the PhDs?
Again, we're back to if they stick to the basis of what words mean, we probably not going to have a problem with any of them.
That's not what I mean.
Change.
That's not what I mean. I mean the ones that come here clearly at stage 3, bargaining, like the Purcell guy most recently.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, they're here because they've instinctively recognised that we're a threat, and that their use of science may be threatened. Their authority may be threatened, and in the case of Spurs, that was demonstrated verbally when it was, it was laid down. You're going to respect my authority.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, based on that example, and I think Anthony took him on again and did pretty much what Spurs did with him. I would say that my opinion of PhD Tony Purcell is that he sees an opportunity for fame, and he's going to come and save the day. And he gets whacked by Spurs by just asking simple questions about science.
But I don't know, why would the day need saving? If you were confident in your outlook and your philosophy, the day wouldn't need saving, would it? But my point is there's got to be a certain degree of recognition of the actual situation in order for them to step in the ring. In the same way, you would never say that Mr. Purcell needs to step in and save the day against these Bigfoot believers, would you?
Well, there's a different perspective. I'm looking at it from a totally different perspective. You're right in addressing it. If they're right, what do they need anyone to save the day? That's one way of looking at it. The way I'm looking at it is Fight the Flat Earth or whoever wants to corral some PhDs and use the title PhD, education, university, all this, and to just have a little bit more firepower in this arsenal. And then this guy, who is the PhD, comes in and says, oh, they want me. Because see, it's obvious Tony Purcell is ego-driven. You could tell by the way he spoke to Spurs. I'm the only one on this panel with the training. I have the authority. Well, even if you did, don't let someone else say it about you. You don't say it about you. It's just the way it came off was you could tell it gave me insight as to how fragile this guy's ego is. He has to be at the best seat at any banquet or he is diminished.
I agree. It's mostly ego-driven. You can tell. He thought he took on the lowest hanging fruit. He thought with his PhD he's gonna nip it in the bud, and the opposite had happened. Purely ego-driven.
Yeah, and someone else could have a different perspective and be right too, because there's so many factors involved as to why that guy came and did what he did and shamed himself as he did it. It just goes back to, if we live on a sphere, we'd all know it. We wouldn't have this show. We'd be talking about something else if we even were talking on YouTube, because it'd be so obvious you live on a sphere.
Yeah, you wouldn't need to save the day. It would be obviously and observably spherical. There'd be no point that you can't see, you can't measure, but the point you do see is within 5% of something you can't see or measure, and yet Al-Biruni's measured that point as a point that you can measure, to measure it, to give you the point that derives it, so you can say it's within 5% of it. You wouldn't need that kind of circle jerk if it was a sphere. It'd just have a sphere horizon, because that's what it would be.
Exactly. When I first heard you say that, it just had a ring to it. The Earth is obviously and observably flat and motionless. Even the ballers have to agree. Everybody has to agree that that's how it presents itself to you. So now tell me the opposite and prove it. Well, we got within 5% of something that could prove it, but we can't see the thing that made us 5% within it. What? Bye-bye, PhD and all. Goodbye, flush it. You just lost.
Well, just before that Mr. Super Guy came on a couple of days back, I was about to say exactly that. There's a point in the story where you have an actual reification of the mathematics that we're now told cannot be seen. Well, Al-Biruni's claimed to see it. So there's the point. That's the point in the story where they are reifying something that only exists in maths, and the story of that reification is Al-Biruni's story, where he takes a dip angle measurement to a geometric horizon and then derives the R value from it. Now, the horizon is simultaneously not a point that's marked as an X in a geometric model because it's non-physical. We all understand that, and when we point that out, we're told by our opposition, well, yeah, of course it's non-physical, or it's a misnomer to describe it as physical, until it requires its physicality to be utilised to make the assertion that Earth curve edges, physical, are blocking boats and buildings. So obviously it can't both be non-physical and physical. That's a contradiction. But the point where they cross over is Al-Biruni.
Well, you've nailed them on this point, so I'll just regurgitate it. If Al-Biruni could stand at top of a mountain and look out at a horizon with a dip angle, why can't we do it? And how come he saw it, and why can't we see it? And what did he see? Did he see the geometric horizon, as you say, or got 5% within it? Or did he see just the horizon, which is not actual, where the sky seems to meet the ground or the sea?
But don't leave it as rhetorical. So what did he see? Well, he saw the same thing as we did. A horizon, a not actual position where the sky appears to meet the ground, not a physical sphere edge. He saw the same as we did. But he imagined it to be a sphere, and then derived a value from a not physical position and said it was physical.
Correct. And I was going to get to it because they say the reason we can't see, which is such, I mean, this is great fairy tale guidelines and rules. When something is proven to be wrong or falsified, just say stuff like, well, it would be there if there was no atmosphere. Oh, really? So Al-Biruni did it on a day with no atmosphere? Is that what you're saying? I mean, I love playing that game with them because it's so comical. Now it's over for them. It was over for them with gas pressure without a container. It was over for them when there's no Earth-based Coriolis. Every single time they want to talk about Coriolis, we ask questions, then they want to say, well, we're going to prove that you can't observe Coriolis. But you just said there was Coriolis. Yeah, but we're going to say you can't observe it because you're going to get us because if the Earth is moving, then it's got to move under the airplane, the hot air balloon, and the helicopter. And we don't want to get stuck there.
Right. So the assertion is we observe Coriolis effect on Earth. For example, Neil deGrasse Tyson says the football's kicked and from the stands the ball seems to curve because Earth turns underneath and the ball goes through the goal, not because the ball actually curved because it's travelling straight, but because the ground turned underneath it, moving the goalpost so that the goal was scored. Well, if that's the case, the ground turned underneath the ball. That's the assertion of Coriolis effect. That is Coriolis effect. If you have a rotating platform and something leaves it, it will appear to drift as you turn underneath it. That's what Neil deGrasse is saying. Well, if that's the case, and Neil deGrasse Tyson is correct in his assertion that a ball leaves the ground and the ground continues to rotate underneath, giving you a Coriolis deviation, then the ground is rotating underneath anything that leaves it. So a plane would also have the ground rotating underneath it. And from the stands, whilst watching the ball, if a plane happened to be travelling over the stadium, you'd glance up and see the plane also appear to curve. And you could see it for a much longer time because it's in the air for a longer time than the ball. But you'd see it seem to curve just like the ball because it's not attached to the ground that's spinning underneath it. And if you're observing a plane with a curved path that's not actually curved, it's straight but you're turning underneath the plane, then the ground's turning underneath the plane, bringing the continent it's travelling towards it if it's travelling west. Or it's fighting against Earth turn if it's travelling east, because the ground's turning underneath it. Well, obviously we don't observe any planes having reduced flight times for the ground to be rotating underneath, for us on the ground to observe it seeming to curve i.e. Coriolis effect. For it to seem to curve, the ground's got to turn underneath it, shortening flight times, and that doesn't happen. It'd also mean you'd launch a drone, and it would seem to drift away from you. Not actually drifting, it's just hovering, but the ground's turning underneath it, according to the claim of Coriolis. Does anybody ever launch a drone and see it seem to drift away at 15 degrees an hour? No. Do hot air balloons take off and have another continent come towards them? No. But they would on the equator at 1,000 miles an hour if it's got a Coriolis effect. But what we end up with is them explaining why the helicopter is travelling with the Earth. Well, that's nothing to do with Coriolis effect. Coriolis effect is an observation from the ground of something not attached to it. But they'll detail the plane and its speed in relative motion to the ground. It's like, well, that's not observing it seem to drift. There's only one Coriolis effect. You spinning underneath something seeming to drift because you're spinning underneath it. Not a justification for why something travels with the rotating platform. That's nothing to do with Coriolis effect, which is an observation from the spinning platform. I.e., from a spinning Earth, we see things seem to drift. But we don't. And if we did, flight times would be reduced, and they're not.
That's when I think, if I'm right, the law of conservation. Although we should have laws for conversations too. But so they try to get us into a car with a cup of coffee with.
Again, we're going to start straight into something that's nothing to do with Coriolis effect.
No, I know. And then we say, but look at what you did. The control variable there that you took away is, hang on, I got a cough. All right.
We're not dealing with control variables. It's just an observational effect. So it's not.
No, I know, but just let me go on. I think you'll see where I'm going with this.
I'll humor you. Go ahead.
It's going to get funny here. I say, oh, so now you're saying that Earth has some kind of a container? Because what you just described happens inside the car that's contained. Are you saying Earth has a container now, and we're not an open system anymore? Are we a closed system? Because, yeah, I agree with you. If you put me in a car and you got a windshield in front of me and a roof on top of me and all the windows up and you give me a cup of coffee, that you can go 70 miles an hour and everything you just said will happen. But now I'm in a closed system. Is that what you're saying the Earth is now? No, that's not what I'm saying. Okay, so what are we saying? We could do it in a convertible now? And you give me a cup of coffee and you take the windshield off, no roof, no windows, and what's going to happen as you're going 70 miles an hour? Oh, we're back to reality. Thank you.
Well, not back to reality, back to Coriolis effect. In an open-top car, you throw the ball, it leaves the moving platform. And although it's not rotational, the ball would seem to fly away from you behind you. Well, it isn't actually flying away from you. You're flying away from it as it leaves the car. And somebody watching it from the ground could see it just go up and down. It's been demonstrated multiple times on YouTube. I mean, there's various examples of people firing Nerf guns the wrong way when they're travelling at the exact speed the Nerf gun will fly. And from the position that's not on the car, moving, it seems to just fall in midair as it's actually being fired. It's just being counteracted by the fact that it's travelling in the first place. Well, these are all relevant only if you're observing something, seem to do something it isn't doing. Well, in the case of Coriolis deviation, what you need to observe is the ball seem to drift when it isn't, or seem to fly away if you're on the car, which is the moving platform in comparison to a rotating platform, seem to drift away from you when it's actually just going up and down out of your hand. But because you're travelling on the road at 70 miles an hour away from it, oh look, it looks like it's flown away from me at 70 miles an hour. No, not actual apparent deviation. In reality, just going up and down. But they want to talk about what happens in the car when it's sealed. Well, what's that got to do with Coriolis effect? So I throw the ball up and down in the car and it comes back to my hand. No deviation. Well, number one, you're supposed to be claiming there is a deviation. That's what Coriolis is. An apparent deflection, meaning you can see it. Not see it and then justify why you don't see it. But also, Coriolis is only observed from a spinning platform. Not from a car that's sealed up, where you don't see any deflection. That's about as far removed from a Coriolis proof as you can get. So they just try and take it into the realm of the inertial frame of reference only, and not detail anything from the non-inertial, which is the bit that's supposed to prove Coriolis. Earth being a non-inertial spinning reference frame, and you seeing things seem to drift as anything leaves it. The fact that we don't observe that not actual deflection, and if we did, it would shorten flight times, is a reason to deviate onto the inertial platform, inertial reference frame rather, and just segue away from the actual effect of Coriolis, so they don't have to argue about it. You end up arguing about whether or not you've got a closed or open system for Earth, and at the end of the argument, they'll declare that you've still got Coriolis proving Earth spins, having had nobody identify the fact that you haven't talked about Coriolis, which would be an observation from a spinning platform of something leaving it and seem to drift.
Well, I have a grin from cheek to cheek because I said reality and you explained the reality exactly, because they have to take it away from Coriolis to obfuscate, just like they have to say, oh, well, the physical geometric horizon is there, but you can't see it. They lose. They have to make up words. We're back to what Neil and I were talking about, where disingenuous words don't mean what they mean. They have to hijack them, change them in order just to barely hang on to a thread to the lack of sphericity that there is.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, how dare you, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now, we are joined by 10th Man and Arwin, together with a whole bunch of people in Discord, so welcome, one and all.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Vietnam.
Good morning. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, one and all. Any evidence
I think it's night in Vietnam right now.
It's not that relevant, but thank you, Arwin. It's very good to have these menial pieces of information peppered in between the housekeeping questions. Any evidence of a physical geometric sphere edge, formerly known as Earth curvature?
Not from Vietnam.
Not from Vietnam. Fair enough.
I don't think it's anywhere.
I'll second that.
Right. Even though yesterday I was browsing on somebody's live stream and they actually had the gall to address me in chat and say that back in the past it was well established that if you go up high enough that you eventually do see curvature. And that was like the second when I was realizing, like, why am I subscribed to this guy?
Arwen, when he said in the past, what era and generation was he talking about?
I didn't get to that part. I thought this guy was a flat earther because he was talking about like the moon and stuff and whatever. But it turned out apparently not.
Well, the reason I asked that is because it wasn't Neil deGrasse who said at 128,000 feet you can't see it. So when did man first go up that high to even look at it?
Look at what? What are we talking about?
I don't know.
Arwen said this guy said it's established fact that in the past, if you go high enough, you could see it. Well, in the past, how high was high?
Yeah, I'll try again. What is, quote, it, end quote?
Well,
you said
they're
you
trying
can
to say
see
the curvature of the Earth.
And what's that? What are you looking at precisely? Would it be a horizon that you're describing when you say you can see it?
Right. It would have to be a geometrical horizon.
We got there in the end. So I can unpack that finally, thank God. So when Neil deGrasse Tyson says you can't see the curve of the Earth from 120,000 feet, that's double speak in 3 different ways. Number 1, it's asserted Earth's a sphere, and you should see Earth as a sphere with a geometric horizon at 120,000 feet. You should. It's calculable in their maths. So he's wrong on one count in terms of their rhetoric. He's double speaking. Number 2, if you're to assert that you can't see a geometric horizon from 120,000 feet, if you're an ant above a beach ball, it is by virtue of his description implying that the horizon is a physical geometric sphere edge, but, according to him, you can't see that physical geometric sphere edge bending at 120,000 feet. So number 2, their rhetoric is to say that, as far as you are concerned, even at a higher altitude than you can cruise at in an aeroplane, as a general Joe Public, you couldn't see it from those heights even if you tripled them. Now see, it is their assertion that the horizon, that's what it is in his description, Neil deGrasse Tyson's description of seeing it bend from 120,000 feet. Well, it is the reification of the horizon into a physical sphere edge. Earth curve is the sphere edge.
I have a...
Yep.
Guns of Navarone in chat said, yes, he did 10th. So is that reference to outer space, a violation of something?
I don't know, but Flat Earth Fellow sent me a smiley face with a pair of sunglasses, so that's something. Thank you very much for the super chat, Flat Earth Fellow.
How do you know that's not a rebellious gas particle?
It could be a rebellious gas particle.
The smiley.
It's
a little bouncy
Because
ball.
those
we got there
have
first.
stripes.
We got there first. Go on, Owen.
Yeah, the smiley in the super chat, it's a very cool gas particle bouncy ball.
Right, it's a solid bonded gas particle bouncy ball, of course. Moving on. Any evidence of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety?
Nope, not on Earth-based variety. We know what axial rotation is. All kinds of apparatuses that can show us what it is, and they have not proven it for Earth. Sorry, Charlie.
Yeah. The Earth is stationary.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning, Choco.
Hey, Chocolate.
You can't say.
Chocolate. Especially if the Earth was actually a globe in a huge outer space universe, then it would have to be stationary, absolutely perfectly stationary, because the consequences would be just insane if it was moving in the outer space universe, you know? Like, even if it was just a smaller based realm, who knows, a snow globe or whatever, then if there was some kind of motion, the consequences might not be that insane. But if there's an outer space universe and all these things are moving in relation to one another, yeah, the consequences of spin, motion, all that is just out of control. Right,
this is something YouTube focuses on from the chat. He kind of, I think he's joking, but he's like, you shills, you don't talk about the speed changes that would be involved in the direction changes in the heliocentric model. So this is our opportunity, thanks to Arwen, to mention those speed changes. Imagine a waltzer, basically, and then check out any of the multitudes of demonstrations of the corkscrewing motion that the solar system would be taking through the Milky Way, and you go, whoa, that's a lot of directional changes.
Yeah, and your question is, any evidence of axial rotation? Well, we know what rotation is, and since there aren't any, but we're back to the imaginary world of the sphere, it's there, but you can't feel it. geometric horizon. It's there, but you can't see it. But this is all they got.
Shout out to Emma UK. She says Jose JG seems eager to join the show. He can join, as far as I'm aware. Oh, there's full panel. Someone will have to drop before he can.
Oh, too bad. He's going to come.
All
He's going to come here.
Maybe
with his
he can tell us how the opposite of synthetic is supernatural.
I
That'd
did
be
that.
interesting.
First of all,
Hold on, chocolate. Hold on.
Man can't make
Hold on.
things.
Hello.
Who do you
Hello.
think you are?
Hello. Chocolate. Do you want to just unpack that? Don't leave it out hanging out there.
Well, that was a statement made by Jose. He was asked the other day, "What is the antonym of synthetic?" And he proceeded to say supernatural.
I love it.
Because he believes that there's only natural and supernatural, which is weird. Because if there's only natural and supernatural, how is there an opposite to synthetic anyway?
Right, exactly. He's detailed the trichotomy in his "No, there isn't." It's like, hold on, you've just completed the trichotomy. What are you talking about?
Exactly. He didn't even realize it. So, yeah, one of those things.
Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
Nope. I don't think it's anywhere. It's just an apparition that's unique to every observer. If there's nothing obstructing the angle from where that apparition should be visible to the observer. But other than that, any actual distance, any physicality, I don't think so.
Well, how would they measure it anyway?
They didn't. It was just
I know.
very
I
set.
said, how would
right?
they? How would they? Not they did it.
Well, they'd have to establish that it is an object by establishing a proximity, like perspective-based effects, approach it, and then just see what it is, and then,
Well, you can't.
then
you
they
can't
can
measure.
determine the distance.
Come on, play along, Arwen. You
Could
can't
there be
measure
more
the
than one sun?
horizon because it's apparent, right?
Right. Well, that would be the first thing to dispel. Then, what? Wait, what?
Wasn't it
Right.
already apparent? Why the new moniker of apparent?
I'm
When something
trying
is
to
already
grease the
apparent.
pads here.
Can you repeat yourself?
But what I
didn't
don't
get
get
it.
is if the sun is close and local, why can't we go or
Well,
get
good
there?
morning,
Why can't we
Yeah.
measure it? If it's not
Spurs,
96
come
million
in
miles
with the
away, that
hello
would be the
next
reason
time.
for why we can't actually go there. But if it's actually in our
Spurs.
atmosphere and close, what's the problem? Why can't
Who
we
said
figure it
that?
out?
Who said that? So you reckon you've got distance? You've got distance to a close sun. How have you got that?
It's not millions of miles away, is it?
How do you know?
Does that mean
I don't
it
know
is
what.
close?
How do you know it's not millions of miles away? We can debunk their assertion based on the R value, based on the points that they've assumed to get to that value. So I can debunk that, but I'm saying, how do you know it's not millions of miles away in regards to you don't know what you haven't got a clue what it is. You haven't got a clue. What makes you think you know what it is?
No, not what it is. I'm talking about where it is.
Yeah.
Not
What makes you think it's close? How have you come to that measurement? Which I just cut this short, Spurs. You have to make an assumption, won't you?
I've got like an observation, and we can see through experience whether something is far or close, right?
Can we? So when you move towards the sun,
Sure.
what happens?
But that's what I'm saying. I'm figuring out: is it because they've prevented us with technology? If it's close, why can't we go there?
If it's close, you haven't established that it is.
Good morning,
Well, I mean, we
Spurs.
know the clouds are not far away, right? They're close.
I've been through
You can
clouds in an
approach those
aeroplane,
clouds.
but yeah, go on.
That's what I mean. So we know. Well, even if you haven't been in an aeroplane, you can know they're not millions of miles away, right?
Well, maybe not.
Why? Why would you think they're millions of
Because
miles
how would
away?
you know? Anyway, red
Through
herringing.
experience.
Not
You've
the
experienced
clouds.
with an
Don't
object.
red herring me. Just the sun. How do you know it's close? I know which assumptions you've made, but you seem not to.
Because we have cameras that can zoom in on it, and our cameras can't zoom in millions of miles away.
Oh,
can
right.
they?
And what's its actual size? Given that you'll need
I
that,
didn't say
given you
anything
don't
about
know.
the size. I said where it is.
No, actual size. You don't go by angle if you're going to derive distance. You need to know one of these things. So you're going to need to know exactly how big it is to get the distance. Do you know how big its actual size is, Spurs?
No, I didn't say that.
Well, how are you going to find out the distance then?
Distance.
How do you know the distance then?
Through experience of objects being close.
All right,
or
so
far.
you've flown through the sun.
No, you're missing the point. If
I'm not.
the sun is
I'm missing
close,
the point. No, I'm not. You don't know how far the sun is. You don't know. Just don't be that guy.
Get there, do we? That's
don't
all.
be that guy, Spurs. Right, you're gonna if you go on this maps and models and assuming sizes of things that are celestial in nature, and you cannot get any tangible idea of what they are or how big they are, you're going to end up on a route that's the same as the route we've ended up to get to the heliocentric model. Just an assumption here, just a little bit of a guesswork there. And before you know it, you're telling people what's what with your map and your model and your close sun, circling over an azimuthal equidistant projection. You're just punting a model. You haven't got a clue. You don't know how far the sun is, Spurs.
Flat earthers from Robotham or, just throughout history trying to figure out where the sun is. Not what it is or how big it is, but where is it in the sky, right?
Spurs does great asking globe myth believers how they falsify the globe. Looked so foolish. Thanks to FE News for the super chat.
Well, yeah, I understood if you go with their rhetoric of you hypothesize first, which is ludicrous. It's hilarious to hear them say this, but that's how they want to do it. We can go that way, and when we ask them to falsify it, then it's completely they don't know how to even falsify their own model. Bizarre. I was speaking to Ruif about this. He had no idea how to falsify it.
Anybody shown you that model yet, Kimo?
Did he show you?
What?
Good question. Go ahead.
Has anybody shown you that model? You ever asked any of them for the
model
model,
is,
the all-encompassing heliocentric model?
No, you have to think when you're using their model. So
no. Repeat the question, Chocolate. Hold on, Spurs. Just repeat the question.
Has anyone actually showed you the model? They always say you don't have a model, we have a model. Has anyone given you that model?
Chocolate, it's a description. You don't actually see the model. That's what I've understood.
So they don't have a model then?
No, they have a model, but you just don't see it.
Oh, so it's like the geometric horizon.
You've got to visualize it, right? So you've got to kind of go, okay, this is like this.
So Spurs, you've been in this game how long? They've been telling you we're stupid flat earthers, we don't have a model, and nobody has shown you a model. Maybe you should start asking them
because
for
how
the
we
model.
understood model was like a physical thing, like when you build a car or a house and you model it, right? So that's what we thought.
But they reify that into something physical, right? They always say we have a model. Why haven't you or anybody that I know of seen the model, the all-encompassing heliocentric model? Where is it?
I'm not going to say imagine, but you have to think of how it works.
It's the Emperor's Clothes. Not real, but you can think of it as it's real.
Right, right. You've got it. You've got to think of these things in that way.
Oh, so it requires thought experimentation, does it?
No, it requires... Hold on. It requires imagination. Right, Spurs?
They don't like imagination, Nathan.
They don't like that word. Oh, it definitely requires imagination. I've got a quote from Thunderfoot telling people to imagine solid bouncy balls with their intermolecular bonds are like unbonded gas particles. It's definitely about imagination, Spurs.
But it doesn't help them to... we don't help them when we say that as well.
Not have a model? It doesn't help them to not have a model? Even though we've been told for years they have a model? You don't find that funny in any way?
If you say to them it's not a physical model, they don't like that. They want you to
they don't like it.
Yes, we know.
Spurs' is empathy getting the best of him, right? He's on there. He's fighting for their corner.
I love it. Yeah, Spurs.
No, not for their corner. What we
start asking them. Where's the model?
Right? If we understand how they see the world, then obviously we can, fix it for them.
Oh, because so the model's in their heads.
We say, why hypothesize first? And they're like, we must hypothesize. That's the first thing you should do. And it's like, okay. So you kind of go through it with them, and then they get to see because I don't know if you saw not Rumpus, Ruith. I was on ranting today, and so what ended up happening? Ruth realized that we were like children. So I said, Ruth, look, what's happening? You started this childhood game where you're saying, well, we've done this, we've got that. And then I'm saying, okay, I've got this, I've got that with the religious side. He was like, this is getting ridiculous. I was like, well, Ruth, you're starting it by saying you can do something in the future. I can do something in the future. And then by the end of it, he realized, he said, oh, I know what you're doing. I realized where this was going. And that's the point, is just to show the Globers that they're being childish. They don't have, like we're trying to say, a real practical model. And we can't force. I don't know if you've seen They Live, that movie They Live, right? Where there's this white guy trying to get the black guy to wear glasses. So they end up fighting.
That's you!
Force him.
That's you!
He's trying to force him to put the glasses on. He's like, no. So, after some time, he eventually put them on himself, and he saw through his eyes and the world. So it's similar with the Ball Earthers. We try to force the flat Earth life on them. Well, I know we don't, but we do. It's like, it's a kind of do and we don't. So the idea is just to go into their world, show them that it's not a real world, and then they're obviously trying to ask questions about our world. And they can only do that if they put on our glasses. So yeah.
Spurs,
it is stressful.
Spurs, from your chemotherapy couch, can you push a rope?
Oh, not 10 minutes of this again.
What's the push?
Yeah, it won't go.
Push and pull. I mean, I've been going over that with the Ball Earthers as well. They've been. I would have thought Anthony's video with the shark. No, but I would have thought Anthony's video with the shark would have demonstrated no pull, right? Isn't that enough for you? Isn't that enough?
All right, I'm moving on. I'm just going to let... No, stop. I'm not having 10 minutes of this. Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
No.
Nope. None of that.
If only they had a model.
Any evidence that you can have gas pressure without the necessary antecedent of a container to press upon?
Oh, I've been watching the Thunderfoot. Yeah, he's told us the sun is a big ball of gas, and that doesn't have a container around it or anything like that. So I don't know if we have to explain it, but to them, that's a ball of gas without the container. So isn't that proof enough?
No, it's called begging the question, Spurs. It's where you say, how are you going to prove the sky is a vacuum? And they go, well, I assume that the sky is a vacuum, and that light up there is a burning ball of gas in violation of natural law in the sky vacuum, I've assumed, proving the sky is a vacuum. So essentially he's pointed to a second law of thermodynamics violation and claimed that proves the sky vacuum.
Right.
Begging the question fallacy.
Right. So they're basically putting their fingers in their ears and saying, what else could it be?
Oh no! I mean, Nathan, I tell you, this is just what they do, right? This is you're gonna have to go into their world again and say, look, you think that this gas. You have to say to them, you think this ball of gas is in a place, and that doesn't, So again, you have to kind of okay, space is real. Okay, so what is space? What's it made of? Oh, I don't know. There's some particles that. Okay, you ask them about it, they just crumble. They just don't know anything about their world.
You have entire conversations by yourself, man?
No, I'm just saying the frustration, how I understand where Nathan's coming from. Is like, well, why go there? Because it's just nonsense. But then you've got to go there because unless they understand, you understand, they're kind of like, well, you don't even understand our argument anyway. Just like we say to them about the Black Swan. Do you get the argument? So we don't even bother with them if they don't understand our argument. They've got to come into our world and get the argument, right? So it's kind of similar on their side. Like the Einsteinian, Newtonian.
I'm trying to get
I was able to explain exactly how Einstein works in their world, even though it's not a real thing, but I can see the difference between the two. And I also know why they say they're similar. Newton and Einstein go hand in hand. I get it. But there's one difference, which they all agree is the mechanism for things falling. So again, if you're in the Ball Earth world and you're like, well, Newton said pull and Einstein said bending of space-time, you can't have both. You see, and they
Spurs,
try
take
to
a
go
breath.
both.
Just six more minutes. 6 more minutes, 10th man.
No, I'm going to wrap
Thank
it
you.
up. So basically, that's why
stay
they.
here.
I
Stay
tried to say
here,
to
Spurs, I got
Anthony
a
why
question
they
for you.
say it's the same is because the rate that things fall in their world would be the same, but the mechanism is different. That's it.
Earth to Spurs.
So is the math.
That doesn't work, 10th.
Oh, come on,
when Spurs
Arwin.
is talking,
Don't do it.
His ears go
Clearly,
shut.
10th man's been waiting ages.
Spurs, I've heard you talk. You do a good job with the ballers. Now, in your therapy sessions, have they ever said to you that the sun is a ball of gas in the vacuum of space, but it doesn't disperse? Have they ever said that to you in such words?
No, because the gravity. Now, again, I'm just going from their worldview. This is what they say. The gravity is so strong, right? It keeps it all in place. Now, again, I'd have to say to them, if that was the answer, what is gravity? They don't know. There's no pull. There's no Newton. I know all that. I'm just answering you of how they would answer.
Okay. So the second part of this, and there'll be one more after that, is do they say that the second law of thermodynamics only applies to the Earth, but that doesn't apply to the vacuum of space and this ball of gas called the sun?
No, they've usually broken down and crumbled by this part, so I don't think we could get that far into it now. But I can definitely ask them.
Okay. So what do you mean they've crumbled down and fallen apart?
Because once you ask them what is gravity, what is space, you don't really get any much further than that.
Second law of thermodynamics applying to Earth, but it doesn't apply to outer space. Have they ever crossed that situation?
Like I say, space, they don't know what it is. The sun, gravity, they don't know what it is. So
not gravity.
We go on for about an hour just about what is gravity.
Vacuum of space, and second law of thermodynamics. Don't bring gravity again. Just those two things.
Mm-hmm.
No,
they don't like talking about the second law of thermodynamics. They don't get into any of those things. It's very difficult to get, information from a globe about where they live, right?
Can you hear me?
Oh, hey, Babs, yeah.
Hey, how's it going? I'm not interrupting, am I?
No.
No, I'll check with 10th man. 1 second.
You're not interrupting.
Yeah, let's check with 10th man. Are we good, 10th man?
No, you're not interrupting at all, Babs.
Okay.
Take over. I can't get Spurs to play along, so go on.
You're good, Babs.
Okay, we good. Yeah, so yesterday we're talking about a way of determining if the surface of Earth is curving or not. And someone proposed a test, not an experiment, but a test that can be done. So basically what they said is if we have a high tensile wire, like a fishing wire, stretched across like a large calm body of water, if that wire touches the surface of the water, then that means that we're on a curved Earth. But if the wire is able to be stretched taut, then we're not on a curved Earth. We're on a level surface. But there's several problems with this test. Mainly, the materials are not durable enough. Like the wire, I've heard, can snap. It doesn't have enough tensile strength. So another guy that I was talking to, who was also a flat earther, that goes by the name of Jeremy, came up with an even better test. So let me see how I can describe this.
Before you get into the second test, so the one you've just described was already thoroughly investigated by Jeranism about 2.5 years ago. Just so you know.
Yeah, they did talk about that as well, and that's someone's got an echo. They did talk about that, and that's where we got most of that data from about how the materials are not durable enough, and it's just not a proper method of determining level. So Jeremy came up with an even better idea. Like, when you're in a swimming pool, how you have to like when you're coming out of the swimming pool, you climb up over the edge, right? So on that edge, like the interior wall of the swimming pool, if you were to draw a line across that interior wall, if that line remains parallel with the surface of the water, across a really long distance, like if we drew a line on the interior wall of a canal, and if it remains at the same height and remains parallel to the surface of that water, then that means that the ground is not curving. Now, a couple of other problems can arise with this method. Like if we're using tools that use gravity to determine level, to draw that straight line, they can always go back to the whole, the line is conforming to the curvature of the surface of Earth because level is perpendicular to the surface of Earth. The usual bullshit that they usually refer to. So what can we do to determine level?
That's the usual begging the question fallacy, assuming the outcome. So you draw a straight line and say, no, each individual point on this straight line actually refers to the centre of the Earth that we are presupposing. So it's a begging the question fallacy when they assert that it's actually not parallel at all. It's conforming to a curved surface when it's clearly not. It's parallel.
Exactly. That's why I said that if we're drawing that line, we have to make sure that the tools that we're using to determine that line is straight and parallel are not
just one more point.
Going to be using gravity.
Fine, that one more point. Bev's already covered this. The tools that would be utilised to make that determination would use the principles of the water you're measuring to confirm it's flat. Now, beyond a fundamentalist religious zealot imposing his begging the question fallacy on that which is used to make things by determining that the ground is flat in the first place, that would be tools like levels, you're ultimately already using that principle to make your determination. In other words, the principle's already set out. It's a Euclidean principle. It's already set in stone.
Yeah, that's why I said that we shouldn't use tools that use gravity. If you use lasers, for example, they don't use gravity to determine straight or level.
What are you saying, gravity?
It's just a reification fallacy.
No, what I'm saying, you don't understand what I mean, 10th man. Let me explain what I mean so you understand what I mean.
Probably not best to use those phraseologies. You don't understand, but feel free to explain anyway.
Okay, what I mean is that if you're going to draw a straight line, you're going to have to use
can I get in a question?
Determine.
Oh, God. Oh, hold on, Babs. Go ahead, 10th man.
Yeah, he's rumpusing me.
Go ahead, 10th.
Oh, I'm rumpusing you.
Just ask your question. Go ahead, please.
Oh, my goodness.
Do this, 10th man.
Oh, thank you, Babs. Appreciate the kindness. Can you first show me one tool that you could prove uses gravity? By the way, gravity is a non-force force.
You're taking me down this rabbit hole that I don't want to go down right now.
We're talking about tools using gravity was your statement. Begging the question, what is gravity? And how can the tool use it if it's a non-force force?
Gravity doesn't exist. I get it.
Well, then why are you saying using a tool, using something that doesn't exist?
How would you determine that line is straight? What would you use to determine that?
That's a nice question. Hold on, Babs. Hold on, 10th. Hold on, Babs. Both of you, hold on. What he's asking is, if you're going to say to our opponent, you can't use a tool that's utilising a not force that you can think of as a force that's actually the conceptual medium of space-time being bent. You can't use a tool that's only a conceptual medium being bent in space-time or 105 years out-of-date non-force force that you can think of as a force. So it's kind of nonsensical to say, well, you can't use this tool because what the hell's gravity? It's a non-force. So what's the tool going to be utilising in regards to gravity? I think that's 10th's point. Can you just confirm or deny if that's not your point, 10th?
That's my point.
Go ahead, Babs.
I understand that. And what I was saying is that that's what our opponents are going to say. They're going to ask us, what have we used to determine that line is level?
Euclidean principles.
How does that cover the gravity?
Sure. I think he's sidestepping it because there isn't an answer and he's not a globehead, 10th, but maybe you can confirm that, Babs.
No, he did sidestep it, and he said that's what our opponents are saying. Well, if our opponents are saying there is a tool that uses gravity, And we ask them to define gravity, and they say it's not there, it's not real. It's a non-force force.
Well, because, I mean, I'm only saying this because I predicted what they're going to do. I mean, we've been interacting with them for so long that we can predict what their reactions are going to be. If we draw a line parallel to the surface of the water, they're going to ask us, how have you determined that that line is straight or level? You're going to have to use tools to do that. So what tools are you going to do to determine that?
Yeah, water.
Babs, water finds its level.
So you're just going to draw a line across water and say that it's level? That's it?
It is level. Oh, right.
That's not enough.
No.
Said that before?
No.
Like drawing the line across the water or the pool? Like, that was you that said that, Babs, wasn't it?
Yeah, but the tools that will be used...
it was me that said that, but I'm talking about accuracy. How are you going to determine accuracy when you're doing that?
We're trying to tell you.
A line.
We're trying to tell you.
Okay.
The principles that have been employed utilize these geometrical principles that are laid down. Now, the Euclidean principles that have been discussed at length by people like Brian's Logic and I've forgotten who it is, Bev Try Thinking, of course. Shout out to Bev. Well, they've covered it in detail, but you opened up by saying what they will do is just beg the question. Now, let's get down to brass tacks. What is the very specifics of the begging the question fallacy they'll use? What they will assert to beg this question is that a straight line is actually bent. That's the foundation of this begging the question fallacy, is it not?
Correct, yeah. They're going to say that that line is bending.
Right. And what's happening here for the audience's benefit is in any other debate or discussion, at the point that you highlight a logical fallacy such as begging the question, assuming your outcome, i.e., well, we're going to automatically assume that this straight line is conforming to a curved earth, i.e., assuming your outcome. That would be the end of the argument. If there's nothing demonstrable beyond the begging the question fallacy, that is the end of that argument. But because we're dealing with zealots, it's demanded that no, we must assume that we're going to have a rebuttal that says, no, I'm going to assume Earth's spherical anyway, and we've got to try and unpick our way around that assumption. We have. Now, the way we've done that is with modus tollens and the Black Swan. Okay, right, so we must assume Earth's got a radius value of 3959. And that's what's asserted in this instance, just with water as your example, to unpick it. But you'll be unsuccessful because the tools Euclid laid down will be denied and non-Euclidean will be applied with an assumption of Earth's sphericity. So where are you going to go from there with this? Well, nowhere is the answer. But you could just go, okay, we must beg the question. Earth's a sphere with a radius of 3959. Oh, well, then every distance to horizon measurement can be no more than 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet based on your geometry and assertion that we're on a sphere. And we can observe it 10 times further than that, debunking any assertion that we have an Earth curve edge for a horizon. Earth not a sphere. It would have geometric parameters as you've laid down with your 3959 radius. And then you go on to, well, your rebuttal is we don't see a geometric horizon. Our very point, end of argument. So if you're going to get into begging the question with them, just use the tool that's been given to you as of 2020, the Black Swan. All right, if the Earth's a sphere with a radius 3959, every distance to horizon can be no more than 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. And it isn't. We don't have a geometric horizon. Hand wave dismissal. We wouldn't expect to see a geometric horizon blocking boats and buildings. Yeah, you would. You assert it to prove we're on a sphere. It's just we don't see it anymore because we haven't got one. The horizon's not a physical sphere edge. That's how you debunk it within the begging the question fallacy. It's now been presented for all to use. So without causing offence, when you go into these arguments, you know, Adam was on the panel last time when Babs went through it, and both he and I are rolling our eyes going, yeah, but what they're going to do is say your Euclidean principles are trumped by non-Euclidean, i.e. we're assuming the sphere. So where are you going to go? You just go back and forth with them saying, no, we are allowed to beg the question, even though it's a logical fallacy. Yeah. It's acceptable. We all understand consensus. We're on a sphere, so it's perfectly acceptable to beg the question in our example that we're on a sphere.
Yeah, I get it. I think I get it now. They're just going to say that even if we draw a line across that canal and we use the water as a tool to measure level, the water is going to be perpendicular to gravity, so it's still going to be curving and conforming to the surface of Earth.
Exactly. I assume that every point we measure on this straight line is actually moving towards the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth, And that is their assumption that is supposed to be tolerated, and we've got to work within the confines. Now, here we say, no, don't beg the question. That's a logical fallacy. Now, obviously, there's people who recognise that that's not accepted outside of the circle where you tell them it's a logical fallacy and not an acceptable argument. There's still people perpetuating it because 95% of the Western world still believe they're on a sphere because they're told from birth they're on a sphere. So, a perfectly acceptable argument is to say, if I'm on a sphere, then blah, 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 therefore I'm on a sphere.
And that's why.
Yeah, but the difference is, hold on, hang on. The difference is we're actually proposing physical ways of making measurements, not just optical propositions like looking at horizon drop and using donkey dick measurements to determine radius. We're actually trying to do real measurements using real physical tools, you know?
But it's the other way round. We've got the physical tools to make the measurements, and buildings get erected as a result of those tools using the Euclidean principles, and even their own surveyors transpose a flat plane so they can apply those Euclidean principles. The tools are there. We know it's flat.
Right.
But the tools are being used to build the buildings. We don't need to look at the terrain and go, let's assess how it's going to be flat or not with a tool that's using the very principle of the war itself so that we can erect buildings and maintain perfect level surfaces as we do so. Otherwise, they'd all fall over. Well, that's being done with Euclidean principles. So they're already set in stone.
Because I was going to say, if you notice with Fight the Flat Earth, to them, level means curve.
Yeah,
and when
exactly.
they saw that the liquid was absolutely flat, that went against everything that they believed. Perhaps they're like, that can't be flat. Nothing is flat. You know, it's following. Because if you notice what Craig did, he changed the narration from following the flatness of the tin to the curvature of the Earth, because that's what they believe, right?
Yes, that was a verbalization and demonstration of their mental acrobatics. So, we have a demonstration of glass manufacturing being perfectly flat because it's floated on tin, and the narrator explains that that's because it's perfectly flat. As it travels down the canal on its perfectly flatness, we achieve perfectly flat glass. Now, their automatic declaration is that you, narrator, must assume also that that's still conforming to a sphere Earth. Now, because he can't there and then get hold of the narrator and get him to correct his error, because he hasn't begged the question of a sphere Earth in his declaration that perfectly flat tin produces perfectly flat glass, and that's why they use it, but ultimately also it's begging the question of a sphere Earth and following that sphere. No. So what he'll do is he'll literally dub his own words over the top of it. Well, if I spoke to him, he'd have just said that also it's still following the curve of the Earth, because that's their zealotry. If it's not stated overtly that it's following the curve of the Earth, well, I can still tack that on the end, and if I have to literally dub it on top, I will, because that's how deep my zealotry goes.
That was an eye-opener. I mean, I really believe that was the narrator, because I didn't watch the entire video. I watched, like, the first part where he gave me enough what I needed, and when he'd come back with listen to this, I thought, goodness me, you know, I can't really take this forward. But then I realised, well, hold on, that's not the narrator, that's you, Craig. And it just shows the level of their dishonesty. Or, you know, they just have to have flat means. I said to him, just flat now means.
What was his point in doing that, Chemo? Was his point in just showing you, just because he says this doesn't mean it's true, and I could just say whatever I want on a video, even just dub my voice over it, and that means it's true?
Yes.
So then how can he ever use any video for anything ever again?
That was Spurs' point, but feel free to reiterate that, Spurs.
No, that's exactly right. I mean, that's the point. He's kind of using I mean, I could have went on all day about that. Well, you use this, that, and the other. I was in too much shock that he actually... I thought we were having a serious discussion on... You know, there was a bet involved.
I know, I heard you practically singing, oh my God. Like, did you really just do that?
I can't believe what happened. Because I thought, goodness me, you know, they've done us again. Like, they've got us with another point, and I just thought, And then I listened again, and it was just like, well, hold on, that's not the narrator, Craig. And then I just lost. I was like, I don't even want to discuss this anymore because it's just.
Did you listen to yesterday's show, Spurs? Because I was like, the next thing they'll do is get in touch with the manufacturer and see if they can get them to, conform to the fundy zealotry of globe Earth. And then in the next breath, someone said, "Oh yeah, that's exactly what he's done."
Yeah, that's what you said. He's contacted them, but I don't think he actually has. I think we've got more of a closer connection to the people that work there on our side, and then I think they probably tried to call or tried to make. And if they had the results, they would have made. Because he said, "I'm going to expose you, Spurs, for this glass is not flat." Right? I said, "Okay, make sure the video is good." Still waiting for that exposure video. He hasn't made it yet. So I think they know. I would like to see how they respond. How they're going to show that the glass is actually curved, right? So we're just waiting
Nathan,
now to see.
Can you put the slide in Master B up? It's the modus tollens that QE did.
Yeah, I've stuck it up on screen just for the audience's benefit. So the discussion we were just having with Babs a minute ago. So this is what you do. If you must beg the question as they demand, well, just go to this modus tollens argument, and therein ends the globe Earth model. It becomes untenable with this argument. But yeah, carry on, Chocolate and Spurs.
Can I ask a quick question to Spurs?
Yes, you've been waiting a while, Arwin. Go ahead.
Right. When you were doing the "oh my god" moment, was that an ode to the silliness known by movie lovers only as Troll 2? Was that an ode to that?
What is it?
Was that an ode to an obscure B movie that Arwin and I, probably the only people who are watching or on this panel that know of?
I don't know what that is now. I was just like, "Oh my god, what are you doing?" Like, I wanted just to be really I just wanted to.
That's not what you said. I'll give a rendition. Oh my god!
Right.
Yep, something like that.
I couldn't believe it. I was just in complete. I was like, Craig, what is what? I couldn't get my head around why they would do this, right? If they're just trying to be honest, and because they should have just paid really $1,000 or pounds or whatever it was, or take the channel down.
Oh, shut up! You're just as bad as Sleeping Warrior. No, Who gives a crap about the bet? The outcome is they asked you and challenged you to prove that you can have a declaration that water maintains level. Which it does.
Liquid.
Whatever. The phraseology is not important either. We've recently had Anthony and Eric Debay sort of kissing ass with each other, and rightfully so, because they're both pointing this out. Excuse me. So you've pointed out and given a demonstration where they must have flatness to this liquid in order to achieve the manufacturing ends that they're trying to achieve. You proved it. Well, what does this prove? Well, it proves that the Euclidean principle discussed a moment ago with Babs holds true and is not just used for building buildings, it's used in the glass manufacturing to get those pieces of glass nice and flat. So, yeah, the principle is very much set in stone and used with Euclidean geometry and in the manufacturing of glass, because water finds and maintains its level. Now, water, tin, regardless, doesn't matter what the liquid is, it has this property, very well understood. Now, they're begging the question fallacy, a logical fallacy that they utilise every time they assume the Earth's a sphere, is to assume the Earth's a sphere and say, no, actually, what we say is flat and is flat measurably and utilised as flat with this flat manufacturing process actually conforms to a sphere, meaning that the process would be rendered useless because they'd be manufacturing bloody lenses. But nevertheless, that's what we're going to impose on this. And if we can't get the manufacturer to actually say it in the video, because it doesn't say that, because it would defy the very principle they're using to manufacture the glass, I'll overdub it and just say it myself. Because that's zealotry.
I think even Team Skeptic laughed because he realised, well, that's not very honest. But then, of course, he's got to go with Craig and say, oh, well, would you accept Craig saying... But it just shows you, I don't know, because they say that we're paranoid, that we don't trust NASA or trust these experts, so-called, or whatever. But, I mean, it's like they don't see the difference. It's not like we can just go to NASA. We can go to any glass company. We have windows in our houses. So it's completely different when the guy's saying this is completely flat.
But that's why he had to do it, Spurs. The loss was so great off of the simplicity that you presented. With this guy just saying, yeah, my profession, I use what makes flat glass. That's simple as that. And he could not deal with it and had to say, look, I could just say, oh, it matches the curve of the Earth. and then you just have to believe that, and there you go. I mean, that shows how pathetic the globe argument is, my man.
Exactly. That's how pathetic the globe argument is. Accept my just so story. I say this manufacturing process still accounts for curvature of the Earth because I say so, and it's true because I made it up myself. Accept my authority. I'm a scientist. Here's the maths.
Yeah. Just like Ruif yesterday was saying to me, just accept it.
Flat?
Just accept it. I said, Ruif, why would I accept? Why would I believe what you're saying without a demonstration? Just accept it. Literally what they want us to do. Just accept it because they think it's been done for thousands of years or hundreds of years, and we would be crazy not to just accept what we've been told. That's how they see it.
You know what I accept that they tell us? We don't see the geometric horizon.
Yeah.
But they haven't proven anything. Well, actually, so why would we accept it?
Chocolate, and again, you don't just accept that, right? You've been able to look at evidence because if someone just says that it's not geometric.
That's been our point the whole time. It's just that they finally caught up to that without even some of them without even realizing that they've caught up to that. Yeah, the geometric horizon only exists in their maps. Rumpus, right? We don't see it. They're the ones telling us we don't see it. How do you see something that's defined as something you see? Right? It's a wrap for them, Spurs. You know it. You've been killing them with the Black Swan for months now.
I mean, they literally don't want to talk about the Black Swan. I think they're glad about this glass thing because it's like something different for them to attack or argue. The Black Swan is just ruined. I mean, we saw with Tony, the PhD guy, refraction of a different character there. He was completely at a loss trying to explain. And again, with Ruif yesterday on Rantism, so I was showing this image where you had side by side. I was like, Ruif, what is this? He's like refraction. Okay, so what's refracted?
Spurs, even better than refraction of a different character was soundly with the geometric horizon. What's whatever that is? That word salad, word soup.
Yeah.
Well, one thing that you guys say that I disagree with.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm talking over somebody.
No, go ahead.
Oh yeah, one thing that you guys say that I disagree with is you say that the horizon isn't physical. But if it wasn't physical, you would.
Why?
Hold on, Schemo. If the horizon wasn't physical, you wouldn't. What? You broke up.
How can you see something that's not physical?
It's apparent.
Like a rainbow.
Hold on. It's apparent, meaning the sky doesn't actually touch the ground, but it's the position where the sky appears to touch the ground.
And it would have physical limitations.
I agree with that, but that doesn't mean that you don't see it. You still see it.
Yeah, we still see it. Hold on. So we do still see a horizon then? You understand and appreciate. That's what you're telling us, right?
Yeah.
So when they say we do not see the geometric horizon, would that make it a horizon then, given that we don't see it?
Of course not.
So they've got a horizon that existed in their maths that's not a horizon but labelled horizon, can't be seen, but yet is claimed to be the basis of everything. Well, if it was a globe beneath our feet, we would ipso facto have a geometric horizon and it would definitely be seen. But their geometric horizon, claim that we're on a globe Earth, is not seen and cannot be seen. So it's not a horizon.
Which is weird because they used to tell us that boats were being hidden by this thing that now currently we don't see.
Precisely. So we were calculating how much of this physical, visible, geometric sphere edge was blocking boats and buildings. Now we're told it can't be seen and it can never be seen. It can't be calculated. It only exists in maths. So it can't both be non-physical geometric and physical geometric. It's a contradiction. And also the implosion of the globe model. They require a geometric horizon, and we've debunked it. So the only rebuttal with the modus tollens logical consistency is to go along with the debunking and say, well, we don't see it. At which point we point out that they've been claiming it's blocking boats and buildings for the last straight 5 years here.
No. Those boats and buildings were blocked by word soup.
Yeah, that's right, weren't they, Soundly? The geometric horizon, what's that? The word soup that used to block boats and buildings, you clown.
Yeah, you should have stayed out of the game. Mister, I've been in the game 2 years.
Yes, it's all presupposed. Even George Nathan admitted that when he did the Rainy Lake observations, he had to use the reference ellipsoid model to confirm his
GPS, right?
So it's all presupposed.
Yeah. I love it when, I can't remember, I think it was Brian that had one of them up against the wall and he was explaining how they utilised the GPS system to presuppose their position on a spherical Earth. And he was asked if that was presupposing the spherical Earth. GPS. What does the G... Anyone on the panel? What's the G stand for again?
Gardening?
The global.
Is it global? Gardening? No, global. He asked if that global positioning system was a presupposition, and the answer was a very short and swift no. That would be yes! Global positioning system definitely assumes you're on a globe when you presuppose your position that's on a globe with the global positioning system. But their answer to that, for some strange, lying, fraudulent reason, was no. When the answer should be yes. Yes, definitely assuming your outcome. Definitely automatically assuming your position's on a globe.
No, wait, I know what it is.
What did he then say that the G stood for?
I missed it.
Curious.
Say that again, Chocolate.
What did he then say that the G stood for? I didn't hear that one.
Gardening.
If it's not global, what is it?
Gardening. Aaron, right?
Gravitational.
Gravitational positioning system.
But the bottom line is they're using
the bending of space-time.
Oh no!
To suspend the satellites around the globe, and that's how they can track us.
Right, WGS84 or Earth-centered, Earth-fixed models, just presuppositions that you stood on a sphere when you mark a position and say, right, our position with reference to the centre of Earth is this. That's where we stand. Now, in the case of the geodetic surveyors, they then map out what they call a tangent plane. Now, the tangent bit is their presupposition that they're stood on a sphere. From there on in, they're using Euclidean principles, the very same principles that may or may not be utilised to measure water flat with water.
Can Craig be taken to court over this, or is it just a silly bet online?
Depends. You could class it as fraud, because if you're deceiving people intentionally to make money from it, then yeah, it's outright fraud.
I mean,
what
literally
I mean is
committed fraud
Did
in
everything
the bet,
recorded
right?
in, like?
I mean, he literally dubbed his voice over something, right? Wouldn't that be considered fraud in the middle of a bet? I mean, that's just a bad look all around, but shit.
I wasn't thinking of it in terms of the bet, although obviously no matter how much I get angry about it, that's always going to be what it comes back to. Yeah, I was more talking about deceiving the world at large and making money from it from advertising revenue as opposed to your bloody bet. It's more important to highlight the fact that there's a deception about the nature of reality, not this bleeding bet that keeps getting bloody used as the conclusion. This is driving me up the wall.
No,
Yeah,
but
I
I
agree
think
with
because of the magnitude of the bet. So
Oh,
a lot
God,
of
I'm going to round out the show on that note. With that, I'll say if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or where the hell's my light switch gone? Trying to rush out. Oh, sod it, I'll have to do it without any camera lights. Hey ho. If you're watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley premiering streams, then stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, though, if you're watching this live on Nathan Oakley 1980 channel, this is where we bid you farewell. A huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you smashed the super chat, liked, commented, shared, subscribed, and all that good stuff. Irritating those spurs was a massive thank you to today's Discord and G Plus panels for making today's live show possible. Once again, stay tuned if you're watching it on either premiering stream. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
lovely day!
What is that going down that stream? Is that on aluminum?
Never bet with a Glober.
Sorry.
They never pay. Ever.
Oh God, I'm going to kill somebody soon.
Can
Can we stop talking about the bet aspect of it? Right, so he demonstrated that a mechanical property of this flat tin was that it has to be flat to make the glass. Right, so therefore this assertion that you've got a presupposition that it's bending at the rate of Earth curvature is debunked. Not he owes him 500 quid.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
by the
that
way, I
area
remember
could
my
have been level
point now.
too, Nathan.
Oh, never
Can I
mind.
ask another question?
Right, there's going to be some
You would
flat
have to
earthers told
level
off, I'm
that
telling you.
whole
Go on, right.
table that it's going down would have to be level.
Say that again. I rumpused you with my moans and mutters about this bet. I'm sorry.
I said that whole table that it was running down, that would have to be level, unless the floor that it was on was totally level. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's level, it's flat. Yeah.
Kimo,
Yes.
do you
I have
the,
one more
original
remark
video?
concerning that he basically narrated over the evidence, as it were. You know, that's not just
Yeah, he
fraud.
tricked me,
If you
Arwin.
just
I was-
present a just so story, that's kind of fraud or whatever, pseudoscience. But what he did was actually considered forgery because it was to be used to judge. So he basically is the forger now.
Kimo,
Well, I was pretty
do you have a-
deceived. I mean, I believed him when he said it follows the curves of the Earth, as you can see. I couldn't believe it. So I thought I'm going to have to pay 500 to charity, which is not a problem anyway. But I was thinking more of the terms of the, our claims about liquid at rest is completely flat and level parallel.
Kimo,
Do you think they're going to pay you?
Kimo, can I find the video from YouTube, or can you link it?
Yeah, I'll link it. I'll get it. I'll have to get it up. I'll have to dig it up.
Yeah, but if you can put it in live chat.
Yeah, I will. I'll try and dig it up for you. Yeah.
Very much.
Okay.
You got any more PhDs on your list for this week or no?
Well, I think everyone's scared now.
That's got to get that's got to get memeified too, right? Spurs the PhD slayer. That's got to get memeified too, right?
Yep.
I think Anthony did a remarkable job. Did you just catch what Anthony did?
Shredder, like a paper shredder.
Anthony, did you see that one?
Shredder.
I thought what he did was quite good as well. I mean, they just lose their minds. They get frustrated. They realize it's... And he ended up telling Anthony, look, what are you going to do about it? Right? I get paid. Who are you? How can you decide? And that's where they are. That's where they're at. They're like, well...
Spurs, you were the best with, but I'm but a humble student just asking questions.
Which I am.
Oh my God, it was great, man.
I don't actually think he was being... I don't think he's being sarcastic, Chocolate. There's a lot of things that people take Spurs.
That's what I'm saying. I understand that he wasn't even being sarcastic. Like, I'm just a guy asking questions, sir. What, can you just answer the question? It's really that simple. No need to lose your mind and get triggered. But that's exactly what he did, as he called him a buffoon. Especially when he said, "Can we talk about science?" My man lost his marbles. Like,
Isn't that the point? Is that saying that glass over a flat surface, that's not really science, it's not really proving the Earth is flat necessarily.
Yeah, it's proving there's no curve.
PhD.
Hold on, that's exactly what it's proving.
Well, no, why would you, through glass being flat, prove that the Earth is flat?
Because it's not conforming to a sphere, as asserted with the begging the question fallacy that the water actually conforms to the spherical surface of a spherical Earth that's presupposed to be spherical. Well, in that instance, no. They float glass, and it's flat as a result of the flatness of the tin that they're floating it on. It's not conforming to a spherical surface, it's demonstrating it flat. That's precisely what it proves.
But I gave you the example, not even last week, about a light over a flat surface demonstrating that same exact thing, and you said it wasn't science.
You said it was. You said you were analogous to the sun with your light.
We have a light source over a flat surface.
Oh, here we go.
How flat that surface actually is.
Bro.
Okay, but is that really proving?
Nobody is saying this is science.
No, yeah, nobody was saying that.
Experiment. That's all we were saying.
What's this? I never heard this one.
I gave you more than too much of a hard time because I was tired, to be honest. It was like the end of a 2.5 hour show. I did give you too much of a hard time having listened to it back. So firstly, sorry I gave you too much of a hard time, but it just wasn't clear. The message wasn't getting through that we were prepared to sort of dissect and listen to and even possibly agree with your example about a light over a flat plane. The problem wasn't that, it was that you kept calling it an experiment, no matter how much we tried to labour the point that the reason we've been deceived is because pseudoscientists keep utilising this word experiment when they're just making up a story. It's just a utilisation of a word to gain empiricism or the idea of empiricism with a just so story. So it wasn't that we didn't agree with your example, it was that you used the word experiment. And that, although it was tried to be laboured, just got caught up in the frustration and, I don't know, there was a breakdown in communication as far as I could hear on the replay.
Well, it's a demonstration of how we can understand flat and level. So I agree with Chemo. Water and glass and all that stuff does prove that we understand these concepts. It's a demonstration. Now, I think
yeah, but it would have gone much easier had you just said it was a demonstration.
Nathan, you're saying that he has an observed phenomena in nature. He's seeing this light going across the water. What's not the experiment part? Sorry, I didn't hear or see. I'm probably completely off track.
It's not an experiment, Spurs. You just don't convolute things further. He's not detailing an experiment, but he just used the word incorrectly, and we were trying to correct that use of the word as opposed to the example.
Okay.
Right. Well, what the experiment was is a light over a surface.
Oh, for fuck's sake, I'm going to kick you out. I'm going to kick you out. Who is this asshole?
So, look,
excuse me. Hold on, Spurs. I've just literally laboured the point again that it's not an experiment, right? But you've immediately referred to it as such. Why?
Why do you refuse to say observation?
Don't do that, yeah. Not an experiment.
Well, it's not proving the Earth is flat. It's a demonstration of what flat surfaces
What is wrong with you? Why can't you just say, no, what I'm talking about is not an experiment. It's a demonstration, like you called it 2 minutes ago. Now you go right back to calling it an experiment. And we're like,
it doesn't prove the Earth is flat.
Look, asshole. We're not asking you whether or not it proves Earth's flat. We're not discussing the example. We're using your incorrect terminology and getting you to understand that your terminology is incorrect, not your example. That's about the 5th time we've said it. Now, I mean, no doubt whatsoever that you will ignore this laboured point that we've gone on and on and on about 10 times with you and immediately refer to it as an experiment again. Don't. If you do, I'm going to kick you out. Do not call whatever you're going to describe an experiment unless you're prepared to detail a naturally observed phenomena that would be a dependent variable and your presumed cause, which you're going to vary to prove the phenomena is caused by what you assumed. That's an experiment, right? So if it's not that, don't call it that.
Because we work very hard, Sinclair, to define these terms because of the messing around that the ball earthers will do. Level now means curved. You've got, all of these things that Nathan's outlining. So we've got to be clear on what an experiment is. So I thought you were saying you had an observed phenomena and you've tested that with your dependent and independent variable. You're not saying that though, right?
Now, observed phenomena exactly is the way I should have put it. Now, I misspoke when I said experiment because that implies science and a whole other things I wasn't necessarily. I was saying it's a demonstration of our understanding of what flat and level.
Fine. That's fine. As long as we have communicated successfully to you that the word experiment has been hijacked by our opponents to lend credence with this empirical word and method called science with their magic words of experiment when they don't actually have that. That's what we're trying to communicate to you when you do the same exact thing when you say experiment and you haven't got one. That's all we're trying to communicate to you.
No, yeah, I would agree. It's like an observation.
It was that simple, brother. Things don't have to always be that complicated, my man.
Can I make a statement, please?
Yeah, of course you can, Dave.
I'll restate what I've said in the past. Any man-made leveling tool gets worse or less accurate over distance. Any natural made tool such as liquid gets more accurate over distance. And the reason being is that's just a law. Like, that's, I don't want to call it a law, but that's just the way nature is. It's more perfect than man can ever be. The best leveling tool ever is undisturbed, unaffected water, liquid. It can be glass, it can be, H2O, it can be all types of liquid, but when undisturbed, it will seek and find its level. There is no way it's conforming to a curved shape. It can't, no matter what you apply to it, it cannot. It will always act like water. Same thing with gas. It won't conform to the shape of a container. It will move in all directions. That's what gas does. Liquid does this. It's liquid acts like liquid. Gas acts like gas because it's natural.
Right. And both sides, the geodetic surveyors and the planar surveyors, are both doing the same thing in terms of their application of Euclidean principles. And they will use water levels in those principles. The only difference is that the globe assuming side of surveying assumes a globe. That's the only difference. But when they actually do any measurements, they're using these Euclidean principles with water levels.
What's funny is every time you set up a laser level, you use water to level it. They have bubble. They have, most of them have water to make sure you have them level, right? And then you turn it on and it will keep that level. But it's using water, it's using liquid to find its natural level.
Right.
That's the funny part.
Also, if I could just add something to that too, if you tip that thing out a level, the laser will turn off because it's not able to shoot over the water.
Exactly. It won't, at least won't be accurate. I mean, you can get some of them that will work, they'll shoot a crooked laser line, like, what I'm saying, when it's not level, but most of them won't. The newer ones won't even turn on unless you level them perfectly. And then the ones that I have, automatically do that. But what they're using is liquid to do that. When that water is level, that's when that instrument knows that it's able to shoot a tangent line or a horizontal line out in all directions.
And this tangent line is going to be a principle utilised from Euclidean principles of surveying. So their own, as I say, the only difference will be if you're going to assume the Earth's a sphere or not at the point that you start. So you put you down your little tripod, put your lantern on top of it, and at that point you say, right, where am I on the Earth-centred, Earth-fixed model? So I can assume which direction I'm pointing towards the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth. And then I'll start making my measurements. Now I know how my angle is pointing off the spherical Earth. That's what they do. They just assume their zenith is actually pointing to the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth. And then they start taking their measurements. So their assertion would be, yeah, when we're levelling it, and that level is pointing to the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth. Of course, because we all know we're on a sphere, so we automatically assume we're on one before we do anything. Then we apply flat Earth principles of measuring stuff with levels and tangent lines and 90-degree angles actually not giving you anything that's never going to be perpendicular. That's what you actually have to apply, always being perpendicular, sorry, if you're going to actually measure something and build something.
Can I speak?
Sorry, go on, Babs.
Yeah, I gotta say this. I just had a paradigm shift right now. I know that the test that I mentioned was hand waved, but picture this, right? The water, hypothetically, in their epistemology, is going to be conforming to the force of gravity. But that line that we've drawn doesn't have any forces acting upon it. So it's always going to be straight. So if that line is always parallel to the surface of water over a large distance, then the Earth is not curving.
And it is. That's precisely what it is doing.
Exactly. So can you see how this test is going to show that the Earth is not curving?
No, because you don't need the test. The principles are already being applied based on what you're suggesting we'd go forth to test. No, the principles
So
are
we need the
already
test
set in
because-
stone.
We need the test because we're dealing with idiots. We need the test because we're dealing with idiots that are not going to understand the rhetoric that
You
we're
think you're
mentioning
going
right
to
now.
give
So
them
we
this
need the
test and
test.
they're going to finally understand it, Babs?
You don't.
Come on, man.
But rather than giving them a test from a flat earther, you can present them Euclid, and they'll still deny it. You know what I mean? Even though buildings are being
How
erected
can they,
using
how can they
it.
deny this? Like how? How can they deny this?
Do you want me to give you a
Because I wanna know-
demonstration? Do you want me to give you a rendition of how they would deny it? Are you kidding me? I can do that very easily. Nuh-uh, you don't understand non-Euclidean geometry.
Are you kidding me? The only
did you
thing they
ever
can
hear
say
that
is that
hangout
that
where
line
fight
is...
the
So yeah, Ali, I did such a good job. I caused instant rumpusing.
Oh
Yep,
god.
perpendicular geometry.
That was
Get in
it.
there,
That
Arwen.
was his
Earth is a
only
sphere.
response. Non-Euclidean geometry. Non-Euclidean geometry. Literally saying,
No, are you freaking kidding me? How can they deny this? Like, the only thing they can say is that
We're
that
not kidding
line
you,
is
you know.
conforming to the force of gravity.
Okay, what's
And
happening
that's
now is
impossible.
Babs is denying that they can deny it. Yeah, they can. Then they do. That's zealotry.
You know, I'm just saying how ridiculous it would have to be for
know,
them to
man, I
deny
know.
this, because
We
they would
know.
have to say that the line is conforming to the force of gravity.
They do
you
say
realize how
that.
ridiculous
That's
that is?
exactly what they say.
Yep. Circumdicular
They can't say
geometry.
that. That's ridiculous.
I love it. They can't say that. No, not they can't. They do. Do you want me to dig out a few quotes?
You would have to be an absolute idiot to say that.
But that's precisely what they do say.
That's what they are, man.
They literally
Seriously?
think.
Like, there's no way.
Yeah,
There's
they
no
think
way
straight
you would say
lines
that.
are curved. Yes, that is precisely what they think, Babs.
Welcome to Flat Earth. Is this your first day?
Flat Earth has a book
No.
that says when straight lines turn curved.
Babs has debated this at length. Bab knows what he's talking about. He's just highlighting the absurdity by dragging it out, and I'm thankful to him for it. It's not his first day here, no.
I'm just
get it.
shocked.
Sometimes
Like,
it can be
genuinely, like,
surprising
wow.
on how low the bar is that these guys set for themselves. I get it, man. Sometimes you're like, yeah, it can't be that stupid. Then you wake up the next day and there they are doing something even dumber than the day before.
Is that the bar from the Calypso College, Tuco Tuco from Tobago?
No, it's impossible. I refuse to believe it. It's impossible for anybody to be this dumb, to be this stupid.
Are you kidding me?
No,
All of them are
it's
that
not.
dumb. That's how they all are. I can't believe you can't believe
I'll
this.
double down on it.
Hold on.
It'll get worse. It's going to get worse.
I'm going to send it one level further into absurdity. I can't believe you can't believe that they can't believe this.
Make a bet with them.
I'm just, oh my god, I don't even know what to say anymore. Like, oh my god.
You could say you don't believe that I can't believe that you don't believe that they can't believe this.
No, to deny something that's obvious,
Like flat glass.
you have to be retarded. Like,
No, you have
Babs,
to
you
be a
saw
religious
Flat
zealot.
Earth, seen
That's
the-
exactly
saw
why
the
they
flat
are
glass.
religious.
Saw it was parallel, and he still said, no, that's not flat glass. Even though they
Babs,
saw
are
it
you
was
kidding
flat.
me when you said?
well, yeah,
when
that's
you
because
said
he's dishonest, and that's something that he can easily hand wave. But you can't hand wave this. You just can't. This is
Just hand wave
undeniable.
me.
One sec. Hold on.
Hang
Everyone,
out
hold on. Arwen and 10th are both queuing. Go on, Arwen, then 10th.
Oh, you didn't hear that? Okay.
You've just got
I'm just
loads of
saying
people.
that's-
Loads of people want to talk at once. Go ahead, Arwen.
All right. Yeah, no, they're religious zealots. So that's exactly what religious zealots do. They sacrifice all rationality for their belief. That's the true sacrifice.
Yep.
And that's why they're so unbelievable stupid.
Yep. 10th.
Yeah, I'm saying, Babs, you've been here all this time, and I don't know if you're playing a little longer, as Nathan says you are, or if you actually mean it. But when we say the Earth is obviously and observably flat and motionless, they deny that, and it's right here, and we all could see that it's exactly as I just stated. And they say, no, we're actually moving. So how come that isn't more stupid than what you just thought was stupid?
What do you think the therapy's been about, Babs, for all this time?
Right.
Hold on. Let me just say this. Hold on. Let me just say this. I've been here for a long time. It's the beginning, actually. And I'm just going to repeat this just because, I mean, you can't, you have to just visualize how ridiculous this is. I'm going to repeat it, and maybe someone might see how ridiculous it is. So if I draw a line above the surface of the water in their epistemology is conforming to the force of gravity, but the line isn't. So if the line remains parallel and the water is also parallel, the ground isn't curving.
Right.
You know, like they would have to say that the line is under the force of gravity, which is impossible. It isn't.
I mean, maybe there's a brawler in Discord right now that can challenge you on that.
Hold on, just give him some acknowledgement. He's made his point about 6 times. We've dumbed it down and hand waved it loads of times because of various different reasons. But do you want me to just summarise this point again? He's saying if you've got a line, you draw it, the water level drops unless the overall, what would it be? The overall circumference, which is represented in that line, doesn't get tighter as the water level goes down, as it must if it's on a sphere, and they remain parallel. You're proving it's not a sphere. I'll reiterate what I've said, which is those principles are well and truly established by Euclid and used to erect buildings. So, yes, you're right, but it's well established. And by trying to demonstrate that, it's already a foundation principle of something that erects buildings.
I'm curious. Will you be using water to make sure that line is straight?
We've gone there. I'm not going to let you do the circle jerk another third time, but go ahead, QE. Sorry, chocolate.
But just settle this and just bet him, Nathan. Just bet Babs, and then
somebody
we'll all
throttle him.
concentrate on the bet.
Just somebody throttle him. Kick him out. Where's Bab? Where's? Ugh.
Kick him.
Yeah, just kick me out. Get me
Not
out
you,
of here.
QE. Saying we should make a bet of it.
Somebody kick John.
My grandma taught me well. She said, gambling is the work of the devil.
Well, at least John didn't say you could bet on the ice wall, you know.
Just trying to trigger me now.
Nathan, I think the bet is more not necessarily taking the money. It's more about are you
you've set him off. Don't talk about the bet. Isn't important.
Bet, though, is it? It's not about
right. You're the last. You're getting it right. You were the last one to land on this. You sat on the chair when the music stopped. Spurs. It's not about the bet. It's about the conclusion in regards to the nature of reality. We're under the biggest deception in mankind's history, and you're worried about 500 quid.
No. I'm just
Come
showing
on, Nathan. It's 500
It's not about
quid.
the money at all. It's not even about the channel. Remember, Wallace and they had a bet back in the day just to prove if people...
Oh, great example. And what gets talked about? Oh, about the court case, about the bet, about the back and forth. No, not about the actual point in question, not about perspective, not about the assumption of Earth curve. No, about the bet and the court case. Oh, it drives me nuts.
No.
Maybe we should
Fine, if you
start
don't wanna
before we
hear
all
that,
get
but
kicked
for me,
off the
it
show.
shows if a person's being serious, they will put
about
everything on the
priorities,
line, demonstrate that they're telling the
Chocolate.
truth. So Craig
I'll give you
put
two.
everything on the line here, and now he's homeless. He's lost. He's in the wilderness simply because he tried to put all his eggs in one basket. Right?
In the wilderness.
What?
Spurs trying to find him to
Chocolate,
bring
you
him
wanna
something
play
to
back?
eat.
Where are you currently?
No, he's talking in metaphors. Just let him. Just feel free to reiterate your point, Spurs. It's getting laughed at, but I know what you're trying to say.
Well, what I'm getting at is, like you said, it's not about the monetary. It's about putting things on the line. Are you willing to put what you think to be true, everything that you own, on the line? Like basically, betting not your life, but would you put everything? And Craig did that. He put everything, his livelihood, on the line, the shape of the earth, and he lost. So that should make him. Well, he obviously won't, but it should actually force him to reevaluate his decisions in life, right? That's all it does. That's what it demonstrates.
Yeah, but you want that whole thing to work on the really is level, and with him it doesn't.
Well, again, it depends on the pressure that he'll get. If he gets pressure that he's deceiving people, then
What? Are you kidding me? He's going to cancel his show, pay you the money. You think that's ever going to happen?
Well, we don't know, do we? Proves that it's flat. What
we do
what
know.
Is he,
His response to you already is knowledge.
He'll
is it
lose
not?
credibility, won't he?
Oh, he hasn't already.
What credibility? He's got credibility.
Well, he's got those little followers, isn't he? And like, if I can show his followers that Craig doesn't know what he's talking about.
I know Globers who can't stand that guy.
Riley got 200 subs for a dime. Forget followers. You give him a dime sub.
Yeah, a lot of. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't want to be too negative about
Anyways,
people, but-
Spurs, just keep doing what you do, brother. All good.
Yeah, keep it.
Actually, same to Babs. Babs is very similar in his approach to Spurs.
Babs.
He spends a lot of time with the
Babs
ballers. He comes here and presents their arguments and their defences, and he does a very good job of it. And, you know, I like getting riled up with Babs and Spurs. They're both really good sports.
I don't know how they do it. Hang out with those ballers all that time.
Hold on. Just go ahead again. Give him props, Neil.
I don't know how they hang out with ballers all that time. I will lose my freaking mind.
I have a really thick skin.
No, I do lose my mind. It's just you got to be able to control it, right?
Okay, I'm
So,
glad
like, for
both
example,
of you
with
have
Fight the
thick
Flat
skin.
Earth, I was just absolutely, going crazy. But you've just got to control it. So I do have these same emotions that you have. It's just
man getting triggered.
What's that? Hold on, Spurs. What's
I'm watching here.
Hold on, Brian.
Stop
Hello, by the way.
raging, Tent Man.
Oh, getting rubbers by Owen.
This is my turn.
I'm trying to gain control. So, hello, Brian.
Oh, it's not my turn.
It will be.
Hey, Nathan. Hey, everyone.
Good to have you.
Hey,
Go ahead,
Brian.
10th man. You've been trying to get in. You've been trying to.
Thank you. But
Before you do,
right there.
before you do, because you're trying to get a word in edgeways, it means that every word that's coming from Discord's getting rumpus by you. No offense, but yeah, I know you're trying to get a word in, but it means that once I'm aware, I will try and get you in. I know I don't sometimes. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, everything that just happened is my point. So, you notice how Brian came on and he said, "Hello, everyone." Okay, so I'm glad that Bab said he's got thick skin and first said he's in control. But when they come on the show, Babs' method is mic check, check, mic check, and Spurs just comes in a running sentence. Like, who was he talking to as he interrupted what I was saying? So it's like, can you learn from Brian and say, hello, good morning,
But
good
that's
afternoon?
them.
I did stop doing the mic check thing.
I like
No,
that.
you didn't.
I like that. That's them. You can't
No,
change.
you need to
That's
come in.
them. Come on.
And you need to come in and lay it on the line. You need to go, yo, what's peeping, dogs?
See, like
was
John
waiting
does. That's
for it.
right.
Yo, everybody, what is
Hello?
light?
Jesus is like.
Hold on, let Dave have a poke at QE.
No, there's no poking QE anymore. He's figured it out. So is
Okay,
chocolate.
what's light,
And
brother?
Neil. Shout out, Neil.
Jesus is the light of the world. He says it.
There you go, brother. That's all you need to know. Forget
Ta-
about
talking of
water
Jesus,
level and-
Did you see Sleeping Warriors Hallelujah video?
Yes.
No.
That was hilarious.
I mean, I don't necessarily approve of the infighting. Sometimes, obviously, I've got involved where it's necessary, but, you know, he's poking the bear with Bob Nodell. I don't really know why. He spoke to me about it. He didn't mention Bob Nodell at all. He was like, oh, have you seen Eric DeBay's video? I was like, actually, no. I've seen somebody respond to it, though. It's like, go and have a watch. They're talking all about relative density disequilibrium, and they're using... Eric DeBay is using very similar words to us. I was like, oh, okay, I'll have a look. Great, wonderful. So I watched it through, and halfway through the video, I contacted him back. I'm like, I'm not so sure that he's using our phraseology here. And then I carried on watching, and he described the Earth as a spinning space testicle. And I called Anthony. I'm like, yeah, he's definitely using your words. Because that's like a definite
how I took it.
nihilism. But anyway, kudos to Eric DeBay. But he hacked up the video and was like putting these hallelujahs in between when he's talking about concepts that are, you know, obviously thrashed out between Arwen, very specifically between Anthony Riley, Sleeping Warrior, and Arwen for about like 6 straight months, maybe even longer, to get to those 3 beautiful words, relative density disequilibrium. And I was like, yeah, man, great. See if you can get in touch with him first. It's only polite to ask. And he tried to find contact details, couldn't. He was like, oh, I can't find them. It's easier to ask for forgiveness. I was like, well, just, cut it up a bit, make it like a reaction video. Then he's got no call to complain rather than you just mirroring it. And that's how I thought he'd do it. He'd just put a little intro at the beginning saying, thanks to Eric DeBay, great video about the response to 10 things no flat earthers think, and I agree with him on this particular point, so I'm going to use his points, and there you go. And I thought he'd just play out the video, and that was it. Instead, you've got bloody Bob Nodell's head poking up, and you're like, oh, God. The first comment on there was like, yay, infighting. I'm like, can't he just make his point?
Oh, man.
Oh, dear.
Bob Nodell and his gravity.
You just let it lay. Just leave it where it is.
No,
I got you.
The thing about gravity, it always goes boom, boom down anyway. So
I blamed you in the comments. I said, this is all Arwen's fault.
Probably. Yeah, sorry, I can't
go
hold
down,
my
go
tongue.
boom, boom. It's go down, go boom, boom, go splash, splash. Get it
bounce,
right.
Bounce.
Bouncy
Well, you
balls.
just gotta
It's all about the
apologize like
bouncy ball.
Platypus did last night.
Yeah, what a great convergence, Quantum Eraser. So you keep saying, like a toddler, gravity, go down, go boom, boom, go splash, splash. And then on that Thunderfoot video, he literally said, whilst talking about bouncy balls go down, said, boom! He actually said it.
Wow.
Of course, I hacked that up and put a helium balloon going bang at that particular moment in the video, but that's just for comedic effect.
Oh,
Didn't
yeah,
you
that
hear
video
him?
was outstanding. I liked it.
Didn't you hear him explain what you have to do to get science, Nathan? You have to go to school and you have to publish papers and stuff like that. Come on.
Yeah, I got that from somebody that was sharing videos with me. People kept spamming me. I didn't understand what the meaning was at the time, but people kept spamming me links to these videos, right? And I'd start watching them for a couple of minutes and go, I don't understand the relevance, and I'd just ignore it and move on with my day. But basically, he got into a tete-a-tete with a guy who is a religious fundamentalist, nicking all of Kent Hovind's arguments. And based on that, he had, in that one of those links that were shared with me, was making his declarations, which was used in the affirmative by the person making the video, saying, look at this guy. How can you possibly challenge him? And then he plays a clip from the guy he's affirming his argument with, which is in this case Thunderfoot, going on and on about how he's accredited and peer review and consensus and, gaining funding, all those sorts of things. And you're like, oh, right, those are now the antithesis of what you want to be saying around flat earthers. Because we'll say, oh, hypothesis, you say. Experiment, you say. Wonderful. And by coincidence, this dude, this Venom Fang X, his response to that, right, get this, was to say, no, I didn't want to debate science with you. I'm like, oh, fair enough. That's probably why you lost to him. Because he'd have pounced on it and gone, yeah, I'm an authority here. Whereas we go, oh yeah, science, you say, Mr. Pseudoscience mathematician. Yeah, let's have the independent formula for Boltzmann.
So when did
Has he
grants
responded yet?
and peer review become the scientific method?
They didn't. Has he what? Sorry, QE.
Has he responded back to you?
I don't know. I'm not subscribed to Thunderfoot. I only stumbled across his dumbass.
He's had to see or hear you getting the remarks in your videos about him. I thought by now that he'd contact you and just settle this, probably with a bat. Then we'll focus on it.
Well, Kiri, he may go by Thunderfoot, but he's not lightning fast.
Boom, boom.
Oh, man. Splash, splash.
Yeah, maybe he will come with an offer to settle the bet. Like can we get this off with like only $50? And
we're back to bets.
And then we'll not talk about it anymore.
Gambling is the devil.
I have a question.
Thank you.
If you don't mind. Euclidean geometry comes from Euclid, yes? The person Euclid from Greece or whatever.
I'll just check it.
Is that
Hold on
correct?
1 second. Yes.
Yes. So this is something I asked the border a while ago, some weeks ago, and I forgot about the question. Uh, who came up with non-Euclidean? Who is the person?
Mr.
developed it?
Non-Euclid.
Yeah.
But that could be a lot of things.
Yeah, but we know who specifically came up with Euclidean.
His wife.
His wife. His wife. Yeah, what is the origin is what I mean. Like, what's the origin of non-Euclidean? Where is their origin?
They're not Einstein.
Are you kidding me?
Boom, boom!
Are you kidding me?
Wow.
Boom!
Okay, maybe it was Einstein. I don't know. Just ask him because it's like
I don't know. I
you
don't
know, it's
think
like anything.
Einstein figured out Euclidean geometry, or I mean, the circumdicular geometry. I don't think he wasn't really too preoccupied with that part.
Well, by title, it's anything that's not Euclidean, but when they're referring to non-Euclidean, they're referring to pseudo-Riemannian, right?
Yeah, Ryman did, or whatever his name is.
Who?
Right?
Are you Euclidean me?
Yeah, are you kidding?
Are you kidding me?
That was great,
I'm
bro.
sorry, 10th man, but that you've only got to have one number one hit to outshine all the musicians around you, and that's what's just happened
Yeah.
here. Neil's
That's just what happened to you.
I'm a fan of Neil's.
By the way, that's copyrighted.
All right, I will give you props every time I say it.
Maybe it would be fair to state that we are Euclidean minded.
Who's got the tumbleweed sound effect?
Hey, at least in a Euclidean mind, straight lines are straight, you know. And there's no extra dimensional concept with time and all that nonsense. So I think that Euclidean is just basically a straight thinker.
Well,
I have another question. Go on,
he's
ask
got
that
all
thing.
the angles covered. Friggin' Dave's on point too. Now, do you have the answer or what?
I thought Euclid was a ruler of some province.
What's the answer, Brian?
Well, I don't know yet. Nathan said possibly Einstein, and someone else said that it's everything but Euclidean. So is it that? Is there no actual? Like, is there no one person that? I don't know. I don't have the answer, to be honest.
I don't think it's a person. I think the minute they had to jettison geometry, they had to give a name for it because straight now is curved. So the minute they made straight curve, they got to say, well, it's not Euclidean.
Yeah, that's geodesics. This is Einsteinian.
Well,
So
anyone
Einstein
check on
is-
Ryman?
Sorry, go on.
It depends on the angle.
Hold on, Kiwi's going to give us the answer now.
No. Did anyone check on Ryman?
My noodles. They're doing all right.
Boom, boom.
Nice one.
Reimann. Is that how you spell it?
It's for Ryman. Yeah, you know what? Is it Ryman? I don't know. Reiemannnin.
You can get jive into Ryman, but I don't know if it's Ryman.
It's one of the
I'll look now.
non-Euclidean geometries is Riemannian.
It went from Ryman to Romanian.
Yeah, whatever.
It's me saying it wrong all this time. I can never say the word right. I've been corrected a couple of times now. I'm just resigned to the fact that I will say it as Romanian.
Who really cares, by the way?
Yeah, exactly. Who cares?
I have another question about it. Is there?
Oh, no. Do you have the answer or is this just open-ended again?
Well, we know his
No,
first
this
name
is
was...
just a question. Just a question, like the last time.
No, I said we know his first name is Pseudo.
Is there anything that I can do at home using non-Euclidean geometry? What I mean is there anything that someone in their own home could do in reality using that would comport to
a drawing,
everyday reality?
Well, then we got somebody offering an answer. Go ahead, whoever that was.
No, a drawing, not using straight lines, not using angles. A drawing made by hand. You can still draw let's say, a cube by hand, but that's not perfect angles. It's not Euclid geometry.
But is that non-Euclidean cube?
Yeah, that's what I would call. It's not. You don't have straight lines. You don't have straight angles.
Good answer.
So you're saying freehand drawing that, if checked, would not be a straight line, right?
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
But you haven't got a curved line through space-time in this hand drawing, though, have you?
I don't think he's making that point. I think he's
No, of
just
course not.
saying
No, I'm not making
there's
that
one
point.
way of doing.
Okay, maybe it's me.
I think he was just saying.
Go on, Brian.
Yeah, no, I think he was just saying that is all you can do at home with non-Euclidean geometry. In reality, you can just draw a diagram, which would basically be all we ever get.
What I'm saying is,
the globe.
you get the pencil and the piece of paper. You draw a straight line. The other thing is you get the ruler and you draw a straight line. Those two geometries are different.
So clarify what you mean then. I'm not sure now what you mean.
I thought now he's clarified it. I thought what he just clarified was quite straightforward, actually. But if you want to repeat it, we're quite clear in what you just said. I thought, George.
Yeah, me too. I think I was clear in what I said. I mean, it's still a straight line, but one is made with a ruler with dimensions from point A to point B. The other one is just an abstract line.
Yeah, but where is the application?
Oh, I know.
of
Okay, sure. One is
geometry
just
in
drawn
the
freehand,
hand-drawn
and the other
line?
was with a ruler. Yeah, I understand what you mean now. Yeah. But what you were saying originally
And
was
from that line, I mean, with a ruler line, with dimension lines, you do straight angles, and you have your geometry, straight angles.
So it's an example of something that's not rigid Euclidean, therefore non-Euclidean. Fair enough.
It sounds like it's an example.
Yeah,
of
not
something that's
geometric.
not provable. Where's the proof?
He's not saying it's proving
of
anything.
your
He's just
angles?
saying, here's a freehand drawing. And it's an example. Nothing wrong with that.
So,
no, we've got to answer, because
I think you're all trying to make George's example more complicated than it is. You're all sort of on this wavelength of reading between the lines and seeing it's really simple.
And for example, if you're going to draw, for example, a house, you need not to have not only the straight lines. You need to have measurements of those lines. You need to follow a pattern which gives you the model of it. And once you're going to implement that, you respect that same model, that same configuration, the same geometry.
okay, I have another question. What else can you do besides drawing freehand at home that would be non-Euclidean geometry that would comport to reality?
Oh, I know. You could use the Earth-centered, Earth-fixed model to assume your position on a sphere. That would involve non-Euclidean geometry, would it not?
I think the question is flawed. He wasn't saying that a freehand straight line is non-Euclidean. He was saying that it's not exact as a ruler.
Yeah, but you have dimensions on Euclid. You have you have sizes. You have the dimensions of it. When, for example, if I draw you a house with no dimensions of it, you don't know what I'm talking about. That could be in any symmetry, depending on the scale. It's arbitrary. When you on Euclid is not, because it's modeled on a scale. It's straight lines. There's geometry. There's sizes. There's levels, plumb lines. Geometry, Euclid geometry.
Yeah, yes, Nathan. You could decide that your zenith is diverging from your neighbour's zenith. There you go. That's it.
There you go. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. I could do it with my wife right now, right? We could calculate out how much our zeniths deviate, even though we both could drop a plumb line and they would be absolutely parallel. I can assume that mine's travelling very slightly differently towards the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth if I choose to.
Yeah. You could even get all the addresses of your friends and all their ones in comparison to yours.
You know what? And if you did that, based on your presupposition that all of their zeniths pointed towards a spherical Earth, you could show that on a spherical Earth and claim it proved a spherical Earth. And it'd be perfectly acceptable to just beg that question and make that declaration, and most people wouldn't even notice.
Yeah, because even surveyors do it.
That was
so
my
you
point.
Could do that at home.
That was my point.
Yeah.
Yeah, their surveyors do precisely that. However, when they do their measurements, though, as you highlight often, Brian, they're using Euclid's principles to actually measure stuff.
Oh yeah, you need that for measuring.
Okay, but now here's the gotcha. If they're going to preassume a center of a sphere, then they have also given us the radius 3959. And if we backtrack that to the surface from the center, rather than from the surface to the center, but center to the surface, if we go backwards on it like we do with the Black Swan, then at a 1 foot observer height, the horizon, the geometric horizon, can be no further than 1.22 times the observer's height in feet. So it's not there to be a presupposition because it can't be back engineered to prove we are on a sphere.
Happy coincidence, I've just stuck up the Black Swan argument. So, modus tollens. I'll even say the bit that's written down. Holy shnikes, this is going to leave a mark. If P, then Q. Not Q, therefore not P. If the Earth is a sphere with a radius 3959 miles, that would be P, then every horizon distant measurement must be no more than 1.225 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. That would be Q. That's the geometric horizon. See Earth curve calculators. Not Q, the horizon distance is greater than 9.41 miles, therefore not P. The Earth is not a sphere. And to demonstrate that not Q, horizon distance greater than 9.41 miles, we have the Black Swan, with demarcations for the distances to this apparent, meaning you can see it, horizon. So we have platform habitat and platform hill house at about 6 and 9 miles, respectively, and the horizon is beyond those two platforms. The geometric horizon, which has been labelled here as geometric horizon, not exact location, for comedic effect, is actually much, much, much broader in terms of where it should be. It's off frame. So whereas it's shown at the bottom of this frame, this is at maximum zoom on a P900, and the actual 1.225 square measurement would put a 1 foot observer height at 1.22 miles geometric horizon distance, which is much further back than this image could give you. But the point is, it's an arbitrary location, when a horizon is a visible location, and their visible location, asserted to be a physical obstruction to things in the distance, is beyond its geometric capabilities, as demonstrated with the modus tollens logical consistency argument, debunking the assertion that we have a physical sphere edge for a horizon. We do not. Bye-bye, globe. It's game over. The model's untenable.
Bye-bye, globe. Bye-bye, geometry.
Hello, reality. Think I
That's only one. There's many more.
We only need one.
Yeah.
We only need one. You've only got to show it once beyond the geometric capabilities of a sphere with a sphere edge horizon. Once it's been demonstrated, it has been debunked. That's why it's been called the Black Swan. Look up the Karl Popper example. The whole point of it being called the Black Swan is if the assertion is that we have geometric horizons, that is comparable to all swans are white, all horizons are geometric sphere edge, then you've only got to show one that isn't, i.e. a black swan, to demonstrate that we do not have all sphere edge horizons. And they must be physical horizons if we're on a sphere. That is the assertion they make to prove we're on a sphere. Sphere edge blocks things in the distance with its physicality. Hence, the Black Swan is the single needed demonstration to prove beyond all certitude that we do not have a geometric horizon. And one is absolutely required to assert sphere-Earth geometry. Bye-bye globe, end of argument. Untenable model.
I didn't mean there's many more Black Swan. I meant there's many more proofs that the Earth is not a sphere.
Oh, yeah, but this one's the single example that goes into the begging the question fallacy that shouldn't need to be debunked anyway, to begging the question fallacy, assuming R. But if we assume R, we can go into the modus tollens and unpick it from within, using their begging the question that we are on a sphere, and then showing how we cannot be on a sphere because we'd have a physical geometric sphere edge horizon, as they show in their models, with an X marked horizon. We just don't have one. A geometric horizon, sphere edge, that is.
I don't know why they're mad. They've been begging us to let them beg the question for years now.
Yeah.
We finally allow them to, and oh shit, it just debunked your radius at best.
Hey Nathan, let me jump in. I've been quiet, but let me think about this. Now, science does, according to the globetrotters, science doesn't prove things, and nothing is 100%. And obviously, there's going to be anomalies in our understanding. So that's the explanation for the Black Swan. It's just an anomaly. It's just a weird thing that happened. But everything else is right. But this one thing is an anomaly. So there you go.
Well,
yeah, that's what I've been hearing too.
Okay, well, if you're going to assert it starting off by saying science doesn't prove things, well, they have a cause and effect relationship that they assert, and we're unpicking from their begging the question fallacy of assuming R. Well, if they have a causal relationship, that would be to say that Earth has got a physical sphere edge horizon, then they've got a method that they can validate that with. Obviously, a causal relationship and natural phenomena, as they assert, could be validated through science. And what do you know, they assert that the whole body of science proves we're on a sphere, and they offer up this mathematics of geometry. It doesn't alter the fact that the geometric parameters are set by their own radius value, and it cannot be beyond that. That's why we're told we don't see a geometric horizon. That's why we're told it cannot be seen, and that is simultaneously why we are told it's only in existence within the mathematics, therefore cannot be measured. But they've derived it from an Al-Biruni measurement of exactly that. It's just a contradiction that demonstrates the implosion of the geometry, which requires a geometric sphere edge. If we're on a sphere, we've got a geometric sphere edge. Well, we've debunked it. It's just the end of the argument. They don't have to like it.
The shape of the ground are not the only parameters that go into what makes a horizon. And
Shut up, PC Meisty.
Hello, let's have
What's
it.
Define horizon, RC Meisty.
I call him
Did he not hear
PC.
me?
Hold on, Neil. Go ahead, Chocolate. You want to ask your question
Meisty,
again?
you there?
Yeah, just ask your
Yeah, I'm
question
here. What I simply said, the geometry of Earth are not the only parameters that go into calculating where we see a
Could you answer his question, please?
Sure, which one? They fired like 3 of them at the same time.
Can you please define the horizon?
Sure, it's where the sky seems to meet the
Right.
Say one more time, sorry. Hold on, Chocolate, can you just repeat that?
where the sky seems to meet the ground.
Seems to meet. Appears to meet.
Not what I said, but...
So would you say that that means you can see it?
Can I see something where the sky appears to meet the...
Yeah. Would that mean that you can see it? Not a difficult question.
Yes.
Yes. So if we've got a... sorry, I'm stealing thunder here. Go ahead, Chocolate.
No, so you said the geometric horizon? Can we see the geometric horizon?
That's not what I said. That's not what I said. I said that the shape of the ground is not the only thing that goes into. They're not the only parameters.
Yeah, we heard that.
That go into.
Yeah, we heard.
Understanding what we see.
Yeah, we heard. You're saying the geometry is not the only thing. We heard that. The follow-up question was, what's a horizon? You said a point we can see. We've clarified that. Sky appears to meet the ground, all that. Even though you didn't say appears, we can definitely see it according to you. Now he's asking you if we can see the geometric horizon. And you're telling us it's not just geometric considerations. Well, forget that. Can we see this geometric horizon to have these geometric considerations you're going to babble on about? That's his question. Can we see the geometric horizon?
No, that's not what my argument is. My argument is that you can't forget what my argument is. That would be a straw man or red herring.
What the hell are you talking about?
Wow.
Answer his damn question, for fuck's sake.
You want to repeat your question again, Chocolate, please?
Arcimaisti, can we see the geometric horizon required by your model?
I'm not making any claims about the geometric horizon.
Oh, right. Sphere Earth does, though. It's claimed we've got a geometric horizon blocking boats and buildings and capable of being put through a mathematical calculation called Earth curve calculators. It's definitely asserted we've got a geometric horizon. We're just asking you if we can see it. That's Chocolate's question.
Yeah. And
we can.
My claim is not anything about a geometric horizon.
I know your claim might not be about that. We don't care. You're one dude, and most of the Western world's under the misapprehension they're on a sphere with a sphere edge horizon called a geometric horizon, and that's the general consensus worldview that we're all under. It's called heliocentrism. You think your opinion matters to us?
Wait a minute, Nathan. He said something really interesting. He says, I'm not making a claim about the apparent horizon.
No, I said I'm not talking about apparent versus geometric. I'm saying that geometry are not the only parameter.
They're the same. Hey, hello. The geometric horizon is apparent.
It's supposed to be blocking boats and buildings, Arcimaisti.
I'm simply correcting the assertion that geometry is the only thing, the only parameters, to use your words, parameters that are
geometric horizon
to calculate what we see as a
so geometry would imply that we've got a geometric horizon then, right?
I said geometry.
Yeah, that's geometry. Yeah, I'm agreeing. Yes, that's geometry. And to do geometry in this instance, we're going to have a geometric horizon, and we're going to draw a straight line to it because it's your tangent point in the geometry. So this geometry needs a geometric horizon to do geometry. That's geometry. It's got a tangent point. It's called the geometric horizon in the Earth curve model, marked with an X, labelled horizon. We're talking about horizons. Don't obfuscate this point. So, Chocolate's question. Fourth time. Can we see the geometric horizon so we can worry about the other considerations that you're going to babble on about beyond the geometry that we're trying to ascertain whether or not we can see it or not? Can we see a geometric horizon? 5 times you've been asked this question.
And I'm not making... Why would I be asked a question about something that I'm not...
Because you're talking about the geometry that isn't the only consideration. And we're saying, oh, right, so there's more considerations. No, let's stop at the geometric consideration that you're already making and see if it's valid to make that geometric consideration by ascertaining if we can see the thing needed to do the geometry. That would be a geometric horizon. So can we see it or not?
Do we see what?
The geometric horizon!
Do we see the land that we're standing on? That is half of what we see for a horizon? Yeah.
Oh my God, man.
Should we cut this short? We're being told by lots of different fundies at the moment, Arcimaisti, that we do not see the geometric horizon. But the problem with that is that your first opener was to clarify with us that a horizon is a point you do see.
Uh-huh.
So, given that we know that you don't see the geometric horizon, it's an arbitrary position that's not actually a horizon at all, but is still utilised as a physical obstruction in your maths. That's a contradiction we're trying to bring you to, by getting you to first ascertain that a horizon is something we should see, and then getting you to concede that a geometric horizon only existing in Earth curve maths actually can't be seen, and therefore is not a horizon.
I didn't make any claims about a geometric.
Yeah, you did. You claimed about geometric considerations. So that is making a claim about Earth curve geometry. You're just a liar or too stupid to realise what you're claiming. You're saying the geometric considerations and then simultaneously saying, I'm not making any claims about geometry. That makes you a certified fuckwit. Because to say geometric considerations is to assert we have geometric horizons. The ones we can't see? Hello?
I said geometric considerations.
So, fuckwit, you are definitely talking about geometry then, and the geometric horizon you'd need for those geometric considerations then. You're just a clown and think that you can assert geometry without acknowledging you need a geometric horizon for that said geometry. You're a clown.
Well, Nathan, why don't you just...
I'm simply pointing out that geometry is not the only consideration.
It's not a consideration at all if you haven't got a geometric horizon. So while you simultaneously tell us that it's not the only thing that we'll do here, beg the question that we've got geometry. No, we won't beg the question that it's a consideration at all, because for it to be not the only consideration, meaning it's damn well going to be a consideration by you, we first need to ascertain if we've got the geometry. And to have the geometry, that's not the only thing, apparently, according to you, then you need a geometric horizon and you haven't got one.
No, we stand on something, land, that has geometry.
Yeah, well, that would mean it needs a geometric horizon, you clown show. I mean, you can't see it.
Didn't you guys used to say that land that we're standing on would eventually block boats and shit like that? Buildings? Things we get cut off, right? You guys used to say that?
Right, are you asserting that the ground we stand on does...
I can't hear.
What?
He broke up for me.
Sorry.
Are
you asserting that the ground or what ground that we stand on does not have geometry?
No one said that. No. Are you going to answer the damn question?
So there are geometric considerations. Great. Those are
and
not
would
the
one
only...
would one of those geometric considerations be a tangent point for globe geometry? That would be a geometric horizon, or not? Can we see the geometric horizon for globe Earth geometry to apply? Can we see this geometric horizon? To cut it short, same question Chocolate asked.
I'm not making any questions about what you can see in terms of geometry.
Oh, we are. We're asking if it's applicable to have globe Earth geometric considerations taken if we can't see a geometric horizon. So we're asking that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And what do you know? In order to have Earth curve geometry applicable, you'd need a geometric horizon. That's a tangent point.
Says who?
Says geometry of a sphere Earth at 3959 radius.
Says any Earth curve calculator.
Are you stupid? Do you not realise the rhetoric of your own religion? Are you a clown? To be more factually accurate, you say it, you stupid idiot.
Exactly.
I said, yeah, we stand on something that has geometry.
Yeah, go on, Brian. Yeah, hello.
Thanks. RC Moisty. Yeah, can you hear me?
Could you determine the geometry?
RC Moisty. What is the radius value of your globe Earth in miles?
To quote my favorite YouTuber, 39.
3959, although he broke up. Go ahead, Brian.
Oh, sorry. I said to quote my favorite YouTuber, 39.
Yeah, he broke up
Your
again.
source is one YouTuber?
Yeah.
Who cares? Go ahead, Brian.
Is he putting himself on mute as he's doing it? Okay, so could you just repeat that again? Could you keep breaking up as you're speaking?
He said 3959.
Yes, I said to quote my favorite YouTuber, 3959.
Okay, thank you. Okay, where can we see this?
Where can we see the rate?
Where can we see the horizon that matches to this radius value?
where can we see a horizon that matches to the radius? I don't know. I'm not making a claim about where you see horizon.
You are, but you made a very specific claim when you gave me the radius value in miles. That was a specific claim.
Wow, this is painful. How did they arrive at that value?
By measuring.
By measuring. What specifically?
What specific method?
Yes.
Survey.
Surveying. How
What
did they
kind-
measure the
Hold on.
radius
What kind of
of the
surveying?
Earth by?
Hold on. What kind
Go
of
ahead.
surveying?
Measuring one point to the next.
Yeah, do you wanna,
Distances.
there's many different types of surveying. Do you want to give us the type of surveying that measured the Earth as a sphere?
Yeah, and you could use most methods of surveying to map out the Earth and ultimately get to what the entire surface area of it is, and given all directions and distances.
Yeah, you said you.
but
Sorry, hold on, Brian.
what he
Sorry,
can
you
do.
said you could. No, who has? How has this been done? Was there a specific type of survey that did that? Who's done this? Because they're all using Euclidean principles, as far as I'm aware, which is the principles with parallel lines, flat surfaces, water levels being level. So, who is this surveyors? Don't tell me what I could do. Who's done it? According to you, they haven't. But who, according to you, has done it? What type of surveyor?
Would you like a single surveyor or because it's been done for
by who? Don't just tell me it's been done. By who? Are you a clown? Are you deaf? Yeah, who? What type of surveyor?
Oh, sure. What type of surveyor?
Yes. Are you deaf? Is there an echo in here?
I'm just trying to understand what you're getting at.
Is it? Do I need to slow the questions down? Are you retarded? Are you going to answer me or what? Who's done this? You said they've done it. Who's done it? Show me. Where's the documentation? What type of surveyor did it?
What type of surveyor?
Did you just make this shit up? Did you just make it up? You keep repeating my question back to me like a complete fucking clown. Now, I'm going to ask you one more time, and you're going to tell me who did it, or you're going to say, no, I just made this up.
Google.
Sorry, you think Google's a fucking surveyor? Are you a clown? Google is not a surveyor, clown.
Oh, they're not?
No, they're not. But you are definitely a clown, though, Clown Show.
Yeah, he's a clown.
Hey, can I?
So you just made this up? Yeah?
They measured distances and directions.
Who? You just made this up, didn't you, little bullshitting prick?
No.
So who did it? You lying little fuck! You lying piece of shit! You have come here to declare your made-up nonsense to an audience. You lying piece of shit! You just made this up, didn't you?
Do you want us to provide some counter evidence?
Sorry, you haven't proved that which you have claimed. You just keep referring to this abstract they, and when I push you for who the hell they are, you've got silence and a repetition of my question. Basically, you're a lying fuck who has made this up.
I answered you.
You lied. You've just come here and made complete shit up.
Google.
Nathan, I answered your question.
Yeah, by telling me that fucking Google did it. You are a lying scumbag piece of shit. And what you are now going to do is be told off by a flat earther for your lies. You just lied.
Sure,
You've made
no
this shit
problem.
up. You're a fucking liar. You all are. You haven't got any surveyor to reference. You've got no documents. You've got me doing a Google search on your behalf and a challenge for me not proving it. A burden of proof reversal fallacy. You're a piece of shit
No,
liar.
No problem.
No problem. You're scum. If I had my way, you scumbag fraud liars would be taken out into the street and flogged publicly.
That sounds like...
Yeah, it sounds like pain. It wouldn't just be me telling you off. I'd have people witnessing you being flogged for your lies. You're just a little piece of shit liar.
Okay.
Not okay. How dare you scumbags come here and giggle and snigger while you lie to a public audience? You should be flogged.
I didn't lie.
Yeah, you did. You just made up some fictitious surveyor that's measured Earth spherical. I asked what type of surveyor, knowing full well that the geodetic surveyors assume a tangent plane. They absolutely don't measure anything spherical. In fact, they measure flat. A tangent plane is what they actually measure. But you didn't even know what type of surveyors. What a specific name that I haven't got. Google, Mr. Google, is it? You lying piece of shit. All you've got is lies, telling me to disprove something you haven't proven yet, with your lies about some fictitious surveyor measuring Earth spherical. You're a lying piece of shit garbage. I'd have you flogged.
Sounds good.
No, it doesn't sound good. Yeah, you should have public humiliation for what you do, you scumbags. And I'm tired of it. The end result of this sort of shenanigans is normally you globehead fucks lying and then laughing at us as we point out your lie. Now I'm going to bring it home, give it some drama. Yeah? In a fantasy world that I run, you'd be flogged publicly for your outright lies.
Where did I...
Yeah, where you stutter for me, bitch. I'd watch you cry while an audience laughed at you, and it would wipe the smile right off your lying scumbag face.
Nathan.
Don't Nathan me. I'm telling you off, you stupid globehead prick, with your lies about measuring Earth spherical and surveyors that don't exist called Mr. Google. You're a scumbag liar like all of them. And like all of them, from now on, you're gonna get told off. Yeah? And I'm gonna give you a hypothetical flogging for your lies.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, uh-huh. Wipe the smile off your smug piece of shit lying face.
Hey,
yeah, that's what you've got. Total silence.
You realize you were done when you defined horizon, right? You were done from the first sentence. It's a wrap for you, bro. And then you want to bring up surveying, you don't know what type or who did it. You're a joke, man.
Google has surveyed distances and directions on the survey.
See, he's back to Mr. Google. Mr. Google. The outrage. Not, I've just had an absolute tongue lashing. I'm going to have some humility and realise that I've just made up outright lies. And I'm still referencing Mr. Google for it. No humility. None of them have got any humility. Not one shred. He's not referencing anything actual. He's not referencing a type of surveying method. No. We've already debunked all that shit. We already know he's lying through his back teeth.
So you're saying that Google did not measure this?
That's what he's trying to infer. But
you can't say Google and call that a source. That is not a source on its own.
Oh, it's not?
No, you complete retard. Google is a search engine. I mean, we're dealing with abject stupidity. They're lies and go, well, no, I'm sure if I Google search it, I might come up with some other spastic that's lied through his back teeth on a Google search. Yeah, you might very well, but you haven't got anything right here, right now, and you've claimed it. What, now it's time for the search to back your evidence that you've already laid on the table with nothing to back it? That just makes you a scumbag liar. But you won't have an ounce of humility, you won't accept that. You'll just keep asserting that Google's a perfectly justifiable reason for making up total shite.
So are you claiming that Google does not mapped distances or directions on the face of the Earth?
Are you talking about Google Earth? It doesn't demonstrate drop. There's no curve in Google Earth. You can measure point to point and it's flat.
Nathan.
Sorry, not. Here we go again. It's Nathan. Did you just hear what I said? There is no drop in Google. You could use it as a flat Earth reference because it's not demonstrating 8 inches per mile drop. It's absolutely not doing what you claimed.
I couldn't hear anything you just
Distances
said.
and directions.
Is he just rumpusing? Is he not listening to
straw
me
man.
anymore? Is
He's
he just
building a straw
rumpusing?
man.
Meister, are
I'm
you
just
just
trying to
rumpusing
ask-
me? Are you just ignoring every word from now on because you've been smashed?
I'm not. I'm listening.
There is no drop in Google Earth. So you aren't listening, you're waiting for your chance to interrupt. I'll say it for the 5th time. No drop. No 8 inches per mile squared. No curve in Google Earth. 0. No drop. Not demonstrating curve. Demonstrating flat. You're wrong.
All distances and directions. All distances and directions indicate that the Earth is a sphere.
Sorry, what the fuck are you babbling about? All distances and directions? A baseless assertion about distances and directions proving Earth's a sphere? What the fuck are you babbling about?
Distances and directions.
You don't repeat it!
Maybe some drop too.
Don't repeat
Percy?
it! Yeah, thanks, Chocolate. What the hell are you babbling about? Don't just repeat it.
I said distances and directions.
So you're going to just
dictate the
repeat
geometry.
You're just
That
going to repeat
geometry is
it.
shown
What, the geometry that needs an Earth curve tangent point called the geometric horizon? You're back to this, you circle-jerking fundy fuckwit. You don't have any surveyors. You've asserted Google, a search engine. I've then dragged you by your short hairs and said, do you mean Google Earth? It doesn't have any drop. And now we're back to geometric considerations, right?
Nathan, you would...
No, not Nathan, right. You've just taken us in a big, massive circle from your geometric considerations that don't have a geometric tangent point to make the geometric considerations to you asserting that it's been surveyed by Google. No, it hasn't. That's a search engine. Me, I've got you to the point where no, we're actually talking about Google Earth, even though you didn't specify that. And Google Earth does not show Earth curve. Your rebuttal is directions prove Earth's a sphere. Is that your rebuttal, you complete clown?
I said distances and directions.
Yeah, I heard! It's stupid! It doesn't prove anything, you stupid fuck.
Distances and directions.
Yeah, you're going to say it over and over again like a stuck fucking parrot record, aren't you? Distances and directions prove the Earth's a sphere. No, they don't. That's just word salad.
Okay, so...
Not okay, you
Yeah, but
stupid
this is
fuckwit
common-
clown. Whoever's interrupting me in G+, shut up. No, you stupid clown. No, distances and directions prove nothing, it's word salad. However, your assertion that we take geometric considerations requires that you don't interrupt me while I pummel the living shit out of you. No, distances and directions is word salad. Stop rumpusing me. That's just word salad. It proves nothing.
Distances and directions prove geometry. The geometry is shown to be a sphere.
Sorry, geometric considerations would give you a tangent point called a geometric horizon. We've gone round this for... It's circle jerk fundy time, audience members. So what's just happened is we've gone through the process about 3 to 4 times where this asshole asserts we've got to take geometrical considerations. Chocolate asks him, do we have a geometric horizon so we can take these geometric considerations? It does not get answered. But we move on to surveyors have measured us having sphericity. Now, we know full well that surveyors have not done that. They use the Earth-centered Earth fix currently to assume they're on a sphere, and then they use Euclidean measurement principles when they measure a plane. They call it a tangent plane because they're begging the question fallacy, but they're not measuring Earth a sphere, they're assuming it's a sphere. So these surveyors do not measure Earth a sphere. Now, we didn't get to that either because he didn't know what he was talking about. He just lied and made up some crap about surveyors measuring Earth a sphere. Then he said Google proves it. No, they don't. Google Earth has no demonstrable drop. Point to point, it's flat. We've used it as a flat Earth proof. It's not demonstrating sphericity. And when we get to that point, it's back to taking geometric considerations. So this will be an endless circle jerk where no demolishment of his argument is ever accepted. No point will ever be reached where he actually acknowledges that he doesn't have the geometric horizon required for the geometric considerations he asserts. But it's not just them. Meaning I'm going to be begging the question and we're going to have geometric horizons we can't see, right? But you're not tolerating your shite that I've told you off for, which is the thing that upsets me the most. Your blatant lies. You haven't got anybody that's measuring Earth to be a sphere. That's an outright, outrageous lie. And I've told you off about it, and for the audience benefit, as soon as I started talking about it, he started talking through me in the Discord server. Because it's an outright lie. He won't take the pummeling, he won't have any humility, he won't accept that he's lied and made it up, and we definitely know a damn sight more about how surveyors operate than he does, with his, it's Google. No, it isn't. You just lied.
So you're asserting, Nathan, that distances and directions do not dictate geometry.
No, we're not going through this circle jerk again. Listen, the original question was...
Fucking cunt. Straight through the same fucking circle jerk, you stupid cunt. Yeah? Is that how it works with you globehead assholes? We pummel the living fuck out of you, and you go through the same circle 5 more times.
Nathan, can you hear me?
I did, I just interrupted you, QE. Sorry.
Nathan, can you hear me?
I did, I just interrupted you, I'm sorry.
Okay. The original question was, how was the radius... Thanks. How was the radius measured and who measured it? That was the original question. You said Google. So please post a citation in here on how, it has to be Google, from Google, that measured the radius and their methodology, please.
Sure, give me 1 second.
This should be funny.
Al Baruni must move over. Google did it before him.
I'm going to wait to see that Google car.
That's definitely not my claim, QE. You know that.
What do you mean? That's what you said.
That Google did it before Al Baruni? No, it's not.
No, that's implicit
Did
with
Google
your
do
answer.
it after Al Baruni? When did Google do it?
Google has a time machine now.
They Googled
You were asked for the origin.
Are you kidding me?
Sorry, no.
So in the 2nd century BC, Eratosthenes measured the radius of the Earth by Googling it? Is that what you're saying?
No, Eratosthenes didn't do it.
He did.
They made that shit up. That's not where we get our radius. That's not where we get our radius from. We get our radius from Al Baruni. I just gave him the answer, but he's going down with the ship with Google. This is preposterous ludicrousness, absurdity.
This is what I heard. Nathan, who do you get to do knee surgeries? Doctors? Well, give me evidence of that. PubMed. That's pretty much what I heard.
Okay, so are we done? Can we get back to my outrage? Why is he having to go and look it up? He's already made it as a claim.
I asked him for a citation.
Yeah, but
he did ask for a citation.
Yeah.
If you'd like to keep raging, though, Nathan,
Yeah. You made it as a claim. It's just been explained that you're absolutely, definitely not going to find that at Google Earth. But you've made it as a claim. We've just explained how you won't find citation for this, but you think, you've got time to kill because you haven't got a backup for your claim that you've made that's incorrect? So, to summarise, then I'm going to shout at you. Yeah? You're going to sit down like a good boy and you're going to shut up. That's what you're going to do. We're going to get that clear straight away. Yeah, you're going to get told off by a flat earther. So, we don't have to make geometric considerations because we don't have a geometric horizon. So, that's your first point. Secondly, surveyors, Google Earth, haven't acquired the R value for you. 3959, this geometric consideration that doesn't give you Earth curve. So when you said these surveyors, meaning Google Earth and wrong, have measured Earth to be a sphere, you were wrong. Now, before I lose my shit with you, I'm going to give you an opportunity to say, I accept I made up nonsense about surveyors being Google Earth because I hadn't got a clue what I was talking about. I just made it up. like I asserted before I got very angry with you. So very calmly, I'll repeat what I'm asking you for. A concession that you just made this shit up about surveyors measuring Earth, and when you thought that was the case, Google Earth was what you were intending to reference, but that definitely won't give you radius. Do you understand what you will now be conceding?
Go ahead and repeat it one more time.
No worries, I will. I'll make it absolutely crystal clear. I got very angry with you and told you off because you made shit up about surveyors measuring Earth and giving you radius. That was wrong. I want you to concede this shit you made up.
I didn't make any. I didn't make anything up though.
Oh, so we do have surveyors from Google Earth giving you radius.
The distances and directions.
Yo, fuckwit. Not distances and directions, you stupid fucking clown show. You claimed something that you made up. Now, basically, like always, you're going to behave like a cunt from this point onwards. You're going to talk through me telling you off, maybe have a little snigger and a laugh, but you are ultimately demonstrated a fucktard lying clown who's made this shit up. But you won't concede it. You'll possibly laugh at me for getting more and more angry though, won't you? You made it up.
I didn't make anything up. No.
You did. You made up shit about Google Earth being a surveyor giving you R. You made that shit up.
Distances and directions, as indicated on Google Earth, do indeed show that the Earth is a sphere. Now, if you'd like to address why it's wrong, that's fine. But
why it's wrong? You haven't proved anything. Distances and directions. That doesn't prove anything.
And you haven't addressed why there's no drop in Google
It's
Earth.
the same point I got angry with him last time. We're at the point of meaningless word salad. Distances, directions on Google Earth prove the Earth's a sphere. So that's a citation with a reference of surveyors measuring radius, is it? Of course not. But we'll indefinitely have that as a rebuttal. No, you made this shit up. There is no surveyor in Google Earth going to give you radius values. No, that's just total shite. But you will never, ever concede that. Your rebuttal will be distances and directions in Google Earth. That's all we'll ever fucking hear from you. Because you're a total cunt.
So any rebuttal to my actual assertion that distances and
Any
directions
rebuttal
indeed prove
to your
geometry?
ambiguous horse shit.
Yeah, any rebuttal to my total word salad shite that means nothing? Oh yeah, I need to suddenly forage for a rebuttal for this abject shite that you've made up. No, I don't. I'd rather just fucking tell you off for being a cunt liar. You don't have anything to present. You haven't given us citation. All you've done is lied through your back teeth and then obfuscate the fact that you've lied with this total word salad.
Well, Akambar said he could word it better. Go ahead, why don't we move to Akambar? This isn't going anywhere. Akambar, go ahead and word it better.
Why are you putting words in my mouth? I said he could word it better, not that I could word it better. But if you want me to try,
this is what we got. Friggin' pretender clowns, man.
Let me
You're all
just get,
pretender clowns.
Hold on.
try.
Hello. Let me just get straight what's going to happen. So it's not that you could define it better, therefore you've made the assumption that because you could do it better, he could do it better. You're actually divining his thoughts that he could do better, correct?
No, I'm saying I could probably do better, not meaning that I can.
No, you said you didn't.
Excellent.
You said you didn't.
Excellent. I could do better. Excellent. Go ahead, Kilcom Virus. Let's see you do better.
I said I could probably do better. I might not do better.
Yeah, I doubt.
I
doubt you'll do better.
Give it a whirl. Give it the old college
The
try,
standard's
brother.
pretty low, though. So far, you've got to do
I can get
better.
it.
Hold on, just lay out
want me to
the terms, Kilcom Virus. The bar's very low. You will do well here because the bar is set at making up total shit. That's the bar so far.
You want me to
I
give
think
it a
I
try?
can do better at that.
All right.
Could I put this thing to bed?
No,
when you
let
have a chance?
Virus. Let Virus do it. Yeah, Virus.
4 more hours.
Yes.
Can't be.
Virus. Oh, what happened?
Yeah. Can't be 4 more hours because my show's coming on in 2.5.
What's going on? A cum virus. We're waiting on you, mate.
I'm sorry, my whole VC went blank. I couldn't hear nothing. I had to exit and come back. All right, so you want me to give it a try?
Go for it.
No, we were waiting for your omelette recipe.
That sounds so good right now. I want an omelet. I'm finna make an omelet. Okay, so what I think he was trying to say was measured distances in every direction could prove the curve of the earth, or you can get the radius from that. I'm not for sure exactly what he was saying, but that's around that ballpark, somewhere in the ballpark.
I see. Maybe you could show us.
Well, I didn't come prepared with this argument. It's not my argument, so I didn't,
Lesson learned. Never jump into somebody else's argument that you don't understand.
I didn't. Somebody brought me into it.
Yeah, you were texting. You little
Yeah, I was
warrior.
saying that. Yeah, and I said that he could word it better, and you took that as, oh, I can do better.
Yeah. The only way that you could know that he could word it better is number one, you can divine his thoughts, or number two, you already know the answer and you could word it better. Doesn't that make sense?
Yeah, but also that means that if it was my argument, then I would have came with stuff for it. But since it's not my argument, you can't ask me to bring something for it because I didn't come prepared for that argument.
So then why did you think that you could word it better than he could?
It's
When
all
it
in the
wasn't your
tone.
argument.
I think in a text message you don't get the tone. So it might be that a cum virus actually means, oh, he could do better.
Oh, here we go. Nathan.
Nathan, looking at them.
Now you're divining his thoughts, Nathan.
I'm divining tone in a text message.
Nathan is on point as usual.
Oh, by the way, no. What? All right. Listen, RC Meisty put the citation in, and I got the conclusion for it. I put it in Master B.
Okay, let's have a little look.
So you guys don't understand how you get
Oh shit.
geometry from direction and
here we go.
Oh, there's the I don't understand, huh?
You must be super retard. You know what technique?
Weird.
No, super retards.
That's an assertion. You are super retards.
What's the bear?
You know what technical drawing is? Give you directions and distances.
Do you know where you
if
are?
you're not a retard, you will.
Do you know where you are, Shaky? That is.
So did RC Meisty post this, did you say?
Yes.
Google Earth Pro is very good time saving tool. Who wrote this?
That's what he put it in the text chat. I just gave it to you.
Where's this
Here's
from?
the other document that he posted.
Google Earth Pro is very good time saving tool for measuring the linear distance. Should I read that with a foreign accent, or will I be struck for racism? I won't. So it's talking about comparing stuff to field measurements. What field measurements is it comparing it to? And where's this come from? What is this? Is there any provenance with it whatsoever? Is this just a screen grab of this?
I'll let him off mute. Maybe he can explain it. Where'd he go?
And it even
He
says
left.
accuracy of measurements decreases as station points increases in both cases, distance and area measurement. Doesn't sound very accurate to me.
So what field measurements are being compared to, and where's this come from?
I don't know. If it didn't come from that link, I put another link right below that in Master B. If it didn't come from there, I don't know. It looks like he just screenshotted this from somewhere. Doesn't have a link.
Could I put this stuff to bed for the audience's benefit, Nathan?
I mean, if this is where
Yeah, he's a lot.
Hold on. This accuracy measurement of Google Earth using GPS and manual calculations.
Yes.
So
I don't know if that conclusion came from there, Nathan.
Okay.
This is all fragmented nonsense, man. But that's what I got. That's what he posted.
Where has he gone?
Yes.
Yes.
So wouldn't that make it an invalid citation because he didn't give you your source? He just threw something at you.
I don't know. We're going to find out as he threw it at us and then run away. Is he not in the Discord server anymore?
He's not. I don't see him in here.
So he's posted it and
He's
then
right.
run
They're
away.
just screenshots.
So we don't know anything about it. It's just a screenshot of something that claims it's being compared to measurements, and then another link that takes something that's saying it's comparing it to GPS.
He did give us one at sorry if I'm talking over somebody, but he did give us one at 26 minutes after the hour. And it's a paper PDF, researchgate.net publication.
Yeah, we already got that, man. We already got that. Thanks. Yes, that is. Listen, stop. That citation, the PDF accuracy measurement, that is his conclusion of the screenshot that says part 4 conclusion. That comes from that document, Nathan.
So it's a begging the question fallacy that assumes these measurements based on global positioning systems. So it's a begging the question fallacy. Does it right in the title?
I don't see anything about radius in here.
What? No. That's in the title. The radius value bit is in this GPS. That's got the radius in it. They're just comparing it to their
global information.
The only thing I saw with radius in it is below that where it says equatorial radius.
You're not getting it. GPS global. That would already assume the radius in there.
Accuracy measurement of Google Earth using GPS. And his other citation, which is from this, the conclusion, says it's being compared to field measurements. Well, yeah, they're global assumed field measurements used in GPS, the global positioning system. So it's just exactly the same as everything else they ever do ever. We already know that. That's why I took him around the circle of which surveyors have done this. Because they're just going to assume the sphere. Well, yeah, shock horror. So no wonder he buggered off immediately.
Can I say something on the...
Go ahead, Brian. Sorry, I
on
forgot
the
about you.
distances argument? Yeah, thanks, Nathan. Just for the audience's benefit. All the distances in Google Earth are calculated using the coordinates, and all the coordinates are latitude and longitude. But latitude and longitude has to be mathematically converted from Cartesian flat Earth coordinates, which is what the surveyors actually use. So everything is mapped flat, and it's changed and converted mathematically from Cartesian and polar coordinates, which are flat Earth coordinates, to latitude and longitude coordinates. And first of all, it's changed to the AE map, which is a flattening of the WGS84, and then it's turned into the oblate spheroid. But every time anyone sees latitude and longitude, that's converted from Cartesian coordinates. So the distances he's talking about are only mathematical distances that are based on a pre-assumption of a globe, because they've mathematically converted from flat Earth Cartesian coordinates to globe Earth geographical latitude and
Perfect.
longitude coordinates.
Far more detailed way of saying what I said, but yes, precisely, Brian. So yeah, it's just a way of assuming the spherical surface, and they convert their Cartesian coordinates into latitude and longitude on a sphere. That's just a far better and more detailed way of saying they're assuming a sphere.
Yeah.
I'm still
Every
not
time a
getting.
glober asks for, show us your.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on, Kiwi.
Did everyone forget my question?
No.
What was my question?
No, you just don't understand my question. Yes, I've forgotten your question.
You asked
What
for
was
the
your question?
origin of the radius value.
Who got the radius value? Al Bruni.
Yeah, that was my original question. My word, man. I said, who and how did they come up with the radius value of the Earth? And he said, Google. This is so non sequitur. Non sequiturs are blushing.
So
My question still stands.
Al Bruni climbs up a high mountain and
Googles it.
and takes his zenith to give him a 90-degree position, which he's going to call, I've forgotten, is it the sensible horizon that Al Bruni called that? 90 degrees to his zenith. An imaginary horizon at 90 degrees to his zenith. Forgotten what they call that type of horizon. A non-existent imaginary one that's 90 degrees to his zenith up his mountain. He then takes a dip angle measurement to the apparent horizon, the actual horizon, the horizon that is claimed to have been seen by Al Bruni on the day he takes his measurement. He then derives R from it.
QE, don't hate me.
Astronomical, I think it is.
Astronomical.
Sorry,
there you go.
astronomical.
Thanks, Brian.
Yeah.
Somebody said not to hate him. It was a joke. Who exactly a small? Oh, I see. Yeah, I got you. No worries.
That's it. So he just sees a horizon that is currently being claimed to only exist in the maths, can't be seen unless we suck out all the atmosphere, isn't ever capable of measurement. But apparently Al Bruni measured it. We talked about this on the pre-show before you got here, actually, QE. So we were saying about that point in the story is the actual reification of the mathematics. So a story that is claimed to show that which cannot be seen. So Al Bruni's seen something that nobody else can, because he's reifying the mathematics in that story. If Al Bruni did this at all, if Al Bruni even existed, it makes no difference to the point. The point is that part of this rhetoric and story is that he's seeing something that is now said to not be capable of being seen, and the whole basis of their maths is on the value he derived from that which cannot be seen. But he's claimed to see it, he's claimed to measure it, give him R, and everyone uses the R to derive a geometric horizon that we can't see. So it's a complete cluster screw.
Who is using? Why are they saying that? Because of the Black Swan.
Yeah, go ahead, Sharky.
Who is using Al Bruni measurements?
You are.
You are.
I don't.
Don't be you, Chikey.
Yeah, you do.
No, I don't.
Yeah. All Baltards use it. They don't even know it. That's where you got it from. That's where you got it from. Shut up. I said, don't rumpus me. I said, that's where the original radius came from. Everything else spins off that base. Do you understand?
So first, it's not the original.
Yeah, it is the original. Who's the original then?
What's the original then?
Eratosthenes, really. Post the primary documentation right in here showing what he did right now.
Aristophanes
And when you
radius.
post what the
I already did. I already posted what Al Bruni did. Watch any of my Black Swan presentations. It's right at the end.
Aristophanes did not do that. He assumed Earth was a sphere. It even says it if you Google search it. should do it.
He didn't assume.
For your
he
own
knew.
benefit. For your own benefit. Don't take my word for it. Just Google search it. And the first reference will specifically say that he assumes Earth's a sphere.
Of course.
How did he get the
Of
radius
course!
sphere if he didn't assume
Of
it?
course! Oh, right. No. So
gonna
it's
say
not
of
him then.
course?
That's part of his assumption then. So not him then. He didn't measure it. He assumed it then.
He was historically
Yeah,
the first
Elbroni
to
did
beg
not-
the question.
Yeah, hold on. Elbroni did not.
No, he calculated its radius.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same with the Earth.
No, he didn't. He didn't calculate the damn radius.
No, he calculated the circumference. Oh.
Who? Eratosthenes did? Post it. Let's see it.
Are you Googling it?
Tell me.
Are you Googling it? No? Yeah?
He's doing something.
See if we get a repeat performance of last time. He'll read out
Yeah.
the citation that will specifically back us, and then he'll claim victory.
Yeah, I'm almost waiting for that.
I assume it's the first time you see it.
Are you Google searching Aristophanes or what?
I posted in the text.
Oh, my bad. Did someone pick up his citation from the Discord chat? Want to read it out then? Go ahead. Mike's all yours.
No, don't ask me to read it. I cite it.
Cite it? No, that's a reference. Do you know the difference between citations and references?
Oh, God.
Not really.
That's not
What you do
really.
is
That's fine.
citation, but
That's fine. That's fine. If I say I can prove Earth's flat, and then I say I've got a, if I say I can prove Earth's flat, and I say I've got a citation, and you go, okay, give it me, and I send you the dictionary. Yeah, is that a reasonable citation to send you a dictionary, and say all the words that are needed are in there? Reasonable? Of course not. No reply. So, if I say Neil deGrasse Tyson specifically says Earth's flat, and you say, where does he say that? And I say, I've given you my reference, Neil deGrasse Tyson. Is that reasonable as a citation?
We have to skip like through 20 hours of footage. You mean like that?
No.
20 hours of shows.
No. You've got to go through the entirety of Neil deGrasse Tyson's life. Because that's a reasonable citation. I just say Neil deGrasse Tyson proves it's flat. He said it. Where did he say it? No, just Neil deGrasse Tyson on your pop. Is that reasonable?
Shit, I'll go get it. 1 second.
So, Chaiki.
Where'd you go?
A citation is the specific section that you're using to back your argument in this instance.
Real penance would be watch Nathan Oakley show 10 times.
I posted what Chaiki posted in Master B.
Are you going to read it or what?
Yeah, I could if you want. If you don't want him to read it.
I want him to read it. It's his citation.
Oh, yeah. Chaiki, it's you, buddy.
So you don't know how to read now, also.
Chaiki, it's your citation, man. You want me to read your citation out for you? Would you like me to do
I
that?
told you what you did. That's
We got RC Meisty back in, Nathan.
Oh, perfect. Hey, RC.
Oh, he
Thanks
just
for the citation.
turned tail and ran.
So, RC Meisty.
Shike.
Are you there?
Shike, this is an audio podcast. You got to be reading it out loud. You can't just post it in the chat and say, you read it yourself.
Hold on a second, KTB. RC Meisty. Did he jump back out again?
He vanished again.
He sank back into the swamp again.
I bet you he thought the show was over. All right, there's the Al Baruni citation right there. Do you want me to go ahead and read that?
Yeah, sure.
Baruni, 973 to 1048, developed a new method using trigonometric calculations to compute Earth's radius. 1 second, I was getting coffee. And circumference. Oh, shit! Spilled the damn coffee. 1 second.
The circumference of shit?
I think he just spilled hot coffee on him. Give him a moment.
Probably, yeah.
All right. I'm back and pissed.
Watch what you do.
You mean coffee?
Eddie's.
Moderator.
Al Baruni. Moderator.
That's hysterical when you.
I already told you. Why do you keep asking me that? All right, let's get back to it. Al Baruni, 973 to 1048, developed a new method using trigonometric calculation to compute Earth's radius and circumference based on the angle between the horizontal line and the true horizon from a mountaintop with known height. He calculated the height of the mountain by going to 2 points at sea level with a known distance apart and then measuring the angle between the plane and the top of the mountain for both points. Baruni's estimate of 6,339.9 kilometers for Earth's radius had an error of 0.0026 and was 16.8 kilometers less than the current value of 6,356.7 kilometers. And it shows you how he did it. This is in every single Black Swan presentation I've done. So your claim about going through hundreds of hours of videos is horseshit. When I said, just go to any Black Swan video and you'll see what I exactly read out. Thank you.
Perfect.
So he calculated the radius of flat Earth?
Yeah, that's where you got radius. Al Baruni.
What? How he get radius? How he knows?
How he knows? He's claimed to have measured. It was just explained to you 25 seconds ago.
He can measure, yes, but
it's.
Choikey said he calculate the radius of a flat Earth. He doesn't know what that's about. I don't know if he knows.
What? No, because the claim was he didn't assume Earth.
No. He's measuring a dip angle to give him the radius value based on Earth having a geometric sphere edge. So in terms of, are you asking us, maybe, don't be unreasonable, Strikey, are you saying who made the very first assumption that Earth was a sphere at all, as opposed to assuming you can measure a geometric sphere edge to give you radius? Are you asking who made the first assumption that Earth was spherical?
No. Your claim against Eratosthenes was that he assumed Earth is a sphere.
Yeah, he did.
And then you claimed that Al-Baruni did not assume Earth is a sphere. So
no, Al-Baruni absolutely... No, I did not say that.
If it does not assume it's...
That's not what I said. Al-Baruni also assumed Earth was a sphere, and then, based on his assumption Earth is a sphere, he's measuring an assumed sphere Earth radius. He's not the first person to assume it's a sphere. That's Aristarchus.
Okay,
Aristarchus. So Aristarchus. Shadows on lights in the sky. And from that, he assumes those shadows are caused by Earth being a sphere getting between them. So that's the first assumption. From there on in, according to the rhetoric, the assumption of Earth being a sphere is always assumed. And based on the assumption, they derive radius and all sorts of other shite.
Right. And then Al-Biruni came in and he derived a geometry from an apparent effect and then presupposed he was looking at a ball.
Yeah, presuppose the Earth's a sphere and then say, well, what's the radius? Well, if I get a zenith and then take 90 degrees to that, that'll be my astronomical horizon, imaginary. And then I measure the horizon I can see, I'll get a dip angle. And with that, I can apply trig and get R on the assumed sphere I'm measuring.
And according to you guys right now, he did that with a
argument
reflected horizon.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah, enough shit. The argument was that we are using Al-Biruni's measurements, which we do not.
do.
And he was the first
Which
that
you
did it.
do. You do.
Which-
Not do not.
which
You
he
do.
was
You
not
do. You
So-
do. You're an idiot. You haven't debunked anything. You couldn't debunk a soup sandwich. You didn't debunk anything. Saying you debunked something after you didn't debunk it is not debunking it. You freaking bozo.
You mean like
What does
flat Earth?
debunk mean anyway, Chaiki? Because you didn't even know what cherry pick.
So I don't know what your exact question. Everyone assumed a sphere from Aristarchus on up, and then Al-Biruni, assuming that sphere, measured the radius and the circumference. That's where you got your original numbers from. Everyone knows this. This is documented till the cows come home.
Everyone knows Eratosthenes was
Eratosthenes didn't do shit. Give me the primary documentation, not fucking wiki. I want primary documentation. Do you know what that is?
no.
Yeah,
We
right.
have
Hold on, that's a good way to
primary-
round out the show. Cool. Can you explain what primary source evidence is, please? And then I'll round out the show. Thank you, Kiwi.
Yeah, right from the source.
something important.
Primary source.
4 more hours.
4 more hours. With that, I'll say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and G Plus panels for making today's after show possible. Of course, a massive thank you to all of you in either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley premiering streams for hopefully smashing the super chat, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, and all that good stuff. Be sure to check out nathanoakley.com and the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!